Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, December 29th, 2012. This is episode 939. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time for the last shows of the year of 2012. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? We're almost at 2013. When you're a tech guy, that's cool because it's like living in the future. We could talk about the present, of course, your new gadget or doodad, your new cell phone or computer. We could talk about internet websites, home theater. Scott Wilkinson's coming up in just a little bit. But we can also talk about the future, what the future will bring. Already, it's amazing. It wastes no time. The Apple rumors have started up again about new iPads, Apple TV, and now the latest rumor, a wearable Apple Watch. Hard to believe. The rumors are hard to believe, yes, but also hard to believe how quickly they crop up. Here we are again with a whole other set of rumors. Brand new rumors. Amazing! That's what we could talk about. The phone number, if you have a question or a comment or a suggestion, is 8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. Outside the U.S., well, you just use your Skype out and you can call 888-826-827, I'm sorry. 888, how many years have I been doing this? I'll learn the number eventually. 888-527-55. You know, maybe just go to the website, techguylabs.com. It's right there. I should go there right now. 888-827-5536. That's it. Toll free from anywhere. I have to say it fast, otherwise I can't say it. I don't know it. Isn't that, you know what your cell number is? I guess probably any sane person does. I have a different cell every week, so I don't really know. I notice, though, that people don't know their own home numbers, their own phone numbers, because you never call them, right? And nowadays, they change all the time. Chat room's giving me the numbers. No, you don't have to say your number in the chat room. It's okay. You want to get in the chat room? We'd love it if you did. All you have to do is go to the website, techguylabs.com, and click the chat link, techguylabs.com. If you want to go direct, irc.twit.tv. Yes, we use that old thing called Internet Relay Chat. Predates the World Wide Web even. It's that old. What will 2013 bring? What will the new? I would love to hear if you've got some predictions or thoughts about that. That'd be interesting. What will be the big story of 2013? What was the big story of 2012? I mean, there were a lot of little stories. You know, Facebook buys Instagram. Google Plus kind of, well, I don't know what word to use. Takes off? No. Fizzles? No. Kind of just goes along as a competitor to Facebook, but not quite successful, but not quite a failure. Although in the world of tech these days, if you're not an instant success, aren't you a failure? iOS 6. Google Maps gone, then back. The new iPads. Yeah, there were 3 new iPads in 2012. That's kind of hard to believe. The iPad 3 came out in March. The iPad 4 came out in October. And then they did that iPad mini. 3 different iPads in 1 year. Well, I guess if you've got a hit, might as well go for it. And, of course, the competition for iPads began this year. In 2012, we saw the first $200 quality tablets, Google's Nexus 7, the Kindle Fire, and the Fire HD. Samsung took off this year with its Galaxy S3, Galaxy Note 2. Huge successes there. And, of course, that's a pretty safe prediction that we'll see an iPad 5 this year. Maybe a new iPad mini. Certainly new Galaxies from Samsung. That's a hit product. What else happened this year? What was the big story, the big tech story for you? 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number if you have a thought. In big screen TVs, I think it's safe to say 3D didn't go anywhere. Although 3D movies showing some legs. Look at the success of The Hobbit, mostly in 3D. But in 3D TV, I got a 3D TV in 2012. Yeah, I did. But it didn't come with glasses because I think they figured nobody really is going to ever use this as a 3D TV. So they just threw it in, right? It's like free. And if you really want to watch 3D, you'd have to go out and buy some glasses at $100 per. That was the Panasonic Viera. Certainly was the year of smart TVs. More and more TV on the internet. And a challenging year for content creators and cable companies trying to figure out how to survive in a internet world. 8888 Ask Leo. I'd love to know what you think about all of that. 888-827-5536. See, I got it this time because I didn't think about it. That was my mistake. I was thinking. Was Les Miserables? Somebody was saying Les Miserables was a huge success last week, and the new movie came out Christmas. Well, was that in 3D? No. And still a success. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's interesting. What else happened this year? Facebook, just grew and grew and grew, broke 1 billion users, 1 billion regular users, people who use it every month. Wow. That's kind of a billion's a big number, isn't it? And, of course, they changed their privacy policy almost as many times. No, not 1 billion. 500 million. Seems like they change their privacy policy several times a day. They did issue stock for the first time. Big IPO. That's right. Species 8470 in the chat room points that out. Yeah, that was the Facebook IPO, which went off with a bang and then kind of closed the year with a whimper. Can't forget Microsoft in 2012. They turned into they changed their company focus. What do they call it now? A devices and services company. Huh? It used to be Microsoft was a software company. It was pretty straightforward. They sold operating systems and desktop software. But all of a sudden, they're selling hardware. In fact, if you go to the Microsoft homepage, you'll see right at the top, it says Microsoft homepage, devices and services. That's their declaration. This is what we do. And the devices were their Surface tablets running Windows 8, which, according to most, have not sold well. Windows 8 itself, the new operating system for desktop. Not a huge success so far. People a little skeptical. Windows 7 seems good enough for most, doesn't it? Certainly, this was the year that the touch interface took off. Not only did Apple, of course, do great with its tablets and others, but Microsoft effectively acknowledged that touch was the future by putting touch into Windows 8 all over Windows 8. New phones, too. Windows 8 phones, as well as Windows RT. It's funny because Microsoft, some years ago, consolidated its operating systems. They used to have two. They used to have the kind of consumer Windows 95, 98, and then they had Windows NT for business. And they consolidated those into just Windows. That was Windows, started with Windows 2000, XP, Vista, 7. Now they've split it again. They've got 3 versions of Windows 8. They've got Windows Phone 8. They all look the same. They're all completely different. They run different software. They're not even as compatible as NT and 95 were. They've got Windows Phone 8. They've got Windows RT, the tablet. And they've got, what do you call Windows 8 desktop? Just Windows 8, I guess. It's amazing how much happened in 2012. Let's talk about it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Anything you want to talk about. If it has a chip in it, I'll do it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So, John, I thought it was just me and my headphones, but they're complaining about it in the chat room, too. There's huge amount
Hey, let's face it. We're all trying to save money these days. We're all trying to find the best value for the buck.
huge amount of phasing going on. They say it sounds like an EQ problem or it's echoing, but it's really phase. There's some phasing going on. See, the chat room says it sounds terrible. Sounds like the mic is on twice. That's exactly it. Just so you know. I heard that. I heard it when I tried it the other day. But I thought it was in the headphones because I've had problems in the headphones with delay. Yeah, but they hear it too. So it's not unusual that I hear it. I remember hearing it before because a delay between my voice and my. But they look what they're saying in the chat room. Sounds hollow. Sounds like I'm talking to a cotton wad. I hear it. I hear it, but I thought it was just me. It sounded that way. It sounded that way when I tried it the other day as well. But again, I thought it was just my headphones. I didn't think it was. Yeah, the sound coming back is fine. Say, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt like that.
Why not to mention?
I was saying on this end, it sounds fine on this end.
Yeah, but the real problem is all the money we make comes from the podcast and the stream, not from the radio.
And nowadays, you really need that. Plus,
does it make a difference? Yes, it does. So it's coming back to me from Premiere is what it is. Because the Premiere, okay, so that's what it is. So it sounds fine now. Protection. And when I turn on the
protection, you won't
Premiere sounds fine.
It just protects you.
But I'm getting myself mixed back in. That's what it is. I make money from radio, but I don't make as much money from radio as we make from the podcast. I make about 3 times more from the podcast than we do from the radio. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Let's talk high tech. Laney is on the line from Simi Valley, California, on line 1. Hi, Laney. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. It's Lanny.
Lanny, sorry. Hi, Lanny.
Good to talk to you again. I bought this shiny new portable hard drive, a 750 gigabyte G technology unit. I really like it because it has FireWire 800 inputs and it's self-powered from the bus.
Yeah, those are great little external hard drives. I like them a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't work in my PC because I didn't notice that it was for Mac.
Yeah.
It's recognized. It went boop boop when I plugged it in. It loaded the driver, but it doesn't assign a drive number. It's got these it's got 2 partitions on it and a small unallocated section. And I'm wondering if there's a hardware difference or if I can just delete the volumes and reformat it.
Yeah, it's just that it's in the Mac file format, HFS plus, which.
Yeah, but the file format is magnetic, right?
No.
If I delete everything and reformat it, wouldn't that make it a PC drive?
Yeah. The file format, that's exactly what I'm saying. The file format that PCs use is NTFS or older ones, FAT32 or EXFAT. The file format that Macintoshes use is HFS plus. Sometimes, most times if you buy a hard drive, they'll format it in the Windows format, FAT32, because Macs can support that. Since this company basically, it even says on the website, G-Tech sells Mac drives, and most people on Windows do not have FireWire 800. In fact, do you?
Yeah, my Alienware laptop has only
Awesome.
FireWire and USB.
Very nice.
I mean, FireWire 800.
Very nice.
And that's kind of why I got it, because I use it when I go out shooting. Besides being an electronics engineer, I'm also a photographer.
That's cool. Yeah, well, it's nice to have the fast interface. That's being replaced on the Mac side by Thunderbolt. And on the Windows side by eSATA, although Thunderbolt technically could come to Windows, and I think some people are using it. So even Apple doesn't support FireWire anymore. I'm sad to say. In any event, that drive should be fine. Just reformat it into a Windows partition. That's all.
Oh, so I can do that. There's no.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real good news. Can I make a statement about something you've been saying for years?
Yes, Lanny, please.
I listen to you talk to people for years, and you tell them to use external D to A converters because you put a card inside, it's all noisy.
Yeah.
I launched a project to digitize all my analog music, and I'm telling you, there's hundreds of albums.
Yeah.
And so I said I got some near-field, really high-quality near-field Yamaha monitors, and I plugged them in, and they just start squealing. Every time the computer does something, they're squealing. They have only balanced in because they're professional monitors.
Michelle, Encino, California, is your next caller.
To unbalanced cables. And even though I plug it into the same output that my headphones sounded great in, these things squealed. So I bought an external, a really nice one, a $600 external Cambridge Audio USB, and it fixed it. They're perfect. They're dead quiet.
That's bizarre.
Unless they're yeah, it's bizarre that the headphones worked okay, but these things didn't. Anyway, so.
What are you using for the? Are you using external DAC? What are you using for the external DAC?
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I bought this Cambridge Audio DAC.
Oh, it's a Cambridge Audio DAC. I thought they were speakers for some reason. It's a Cambridge Audio DAC.
Oh, no. The speakers that I bought are powered speakers.
Got it.
They're balanced input only, and I built some cables to run them from the unbalanced output, and they squealed. They squealed when there's no music, but they squealed in concert with whatever the computer was doing. So you get the picture.
That doesn't sound so good. That's an interesting issue. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, but this fixed it. That's the whole point. I'm driving it from an optical output on the computer.
Good.
A Toslink output.
Yeah.
And it's got balanced outputs as well as unbalanced outputs. It's really a nice unit. It's called, I forget what it's called, but
they got bought by Logitech some years ago. Cambridge Soundworks.
Cambridge?
Yeah, they used to be a great independent company, and unless they've been sold again, the last time I checked,
they don't call themselves Soundworks anymore. My computer speakers are Cambridge Soundworks. This one says Cambridge Audio on it.
Oh, yeah. See, that might not be related. They kept the that's a separate company. So the speakers are now Logitech, but Cambridge Audio. Anyway. That's interesting, huh?
It is. Anyway, your advice works.
Yay!
You're a good guy. Keep on trucking.
Happy New Year, Lenny.
Hey, you too.
Thank you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Michelle on the line. Hi, Michelle. Leo Laporte here. Bye, Michelle. Nice talking to you. Maybe she got scared. What Lanny was talking about was the idea of having a external sound conversion. The sound normally is, of course, it's digital. It's in a computer, and normally gets converted to analog audio by your sound card. That's why you have analog jacks, headphone jacks and speaker jacks on your computer, laptop, or PC. But it's the problem is that the sound card inside the box often is cheap. A lot of times it's basically software on the motherboard that's doing the conversion. And it's also in a very noisy environment inside the computer. So audiophiles often will buy what's called a DAC, digital to analog converter, and they'll buy an external DAC. You can get cheap ones. The Griffin iMic, for instance, is a DAC, and that's about $35. You can go all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars for audiophile quality digital analog converters. Let's try again. Michelle, you there now?
Hi, Leo, can you hear me?
I hear you now. Thanks, Michelle.
Hi. I was wondering if you could help me, a little bit of advice. Sure. I'm heading off to an Apple store right now to buy a MacBook, but I don't know whether to get the MacBook Pro or the Air. I've got different friends telling me different things. And I myself have always been a PC girl.
Right.
Although I use Macs at work. And I have an iPhone, and I have the iPod, all that kind of thing. So
this is your first Mac, though.
Any advice?
Wow,
my first Mac.
How exciting!
I know.
So the big difference between Mac.
I'm very nervous. Having a panic attack.
First of all, the Apple Store is a nice place, and they'll give you lots of advice. And what I would do is take time, and you're allowed to do that all the time in the world to play with both. So here's the big differences. The MacBook Air is very lightweight, but it's smaller screens. There's an 11-inch and a 13-inch. I would get the 13-inch. So it's very lightweight, very compact. It's also a little slower. The MacBook Pros are the higher-end processors, but more importantly, The current MacBook Pros have what's called Retina displays, very high resolution displays. And I use a MacBook Air, and I love them. And for traveling, certainly there's nothing like it. But I did move to the MacBook Pro with Retina display because the display is so gorgeous. It's so high quality. Now, my question really would be how you're going to use this. Are you traveling a lot? Is weight important for you?
No, I'm not really traveling so much. I mean, I travel back home a couple of times a year, but it would be more so to do things with photography and music.
Get the Retina.
Just regular.
Yeah,
regular things.
Get the MacBook Pro. The Retina one's pretty thin, pretty lightweight. It's not as big and heavy as the old ones. The MacBook Pro, and I would get the 15-inch, not the 13-inch. They underpowered the video display subsystem on the 13-inch, and I don't think it's fast enough for the number of pixels it's pushing. So get the MacBook Pro 15 if you can afford it. $2,200. The stock configuration is fine. You don't need to get more RAM. I love it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, John. I can't get into the call screening. I can't get into the call screening. That's kind of more important. I don't know why. It won't. It gives the password and all that.
Just restart this sucker.
I did. I restarted it.
I don't see the VPN running.
Yeah, it's running. See, and it connected.
Yeah, it's okay. So it says connected.
But the assistant producer is the problem.
Yeah. So, and you have restarted because that's.
Yeah, I restarted it. Let's kill it. Okay. So VPN is connected. Let's try running assistant producer again. See, now it takes a little while to application error message. You will not be logged in automatically. So what is this SSO? I don't. So it didn't give me the password. Now, then eventually it did, but it's because it says there's an error message. Okay, there's the password, right? Just off. I'm going to turn off my. Okay, don't worry about it then. All right, so it's one that they provided?
Yeah.
All right, and now.
No, wait. No, I think it's no password.
No password?
Yeah, just TWiT and no password.
Okay, so it's providing. That's probably what's wrong. It's providing a credential.
So there's a setting on the Zephyr, but I can't read the friggin' screen.
All right, what is it?
That prevents it from giving you your audio back.
I can do it. I remember that.
It's just hard for me to read that screen.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I think it's fixed. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Scott Wilkinson is here. He is our home theater guru. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Leo. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. He's a contributor to the secrets of home theater and hi-fi. It's secrets. I'm sorry, hi-fi. I got to get it right. Home theater. It says on the screen. I can read it. HomeTheaterHiFi.com. There you go.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Hosts a podcast on our podcast network, our TWiT network, called Home Theater Geeks. You got the day off since it's New Year's Eve tomorrow. Or it's Monday. I presume you're not doing a show Monday.
Well, we're not doing a live show, but we did pre-record an end-of-the-year show with a panel of journalists who were talking. We talked about, all the stuff that happened this year, and I was going to give you a little taste of it this morning.
I'd love to know. Was this a big year for home theater or just a kind of tread water year?
Oh, no, I think it was a big year in pluses and minuses. The big failure, I think, was OLED. I mean, we had such high hopes at CES last year, about a year ago. LG and Samsung were just really having a huge deal about OLED or OLED, this new flat panel technology that would allow. I
remember in January we were looking at it. It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, and they said, "Oh, we're definitely delivering before the end of the year."
Nothing.
Do
we know why?
Well, there are some rumors. There are some articles going around about what happened, and part of the problem very well could be production problems. That actually making them in large quantities was very difficult. Is still very difficult, and larger flat panels, which people seem to want, are getting really cheap. You've got the Vizio 70-inch for like $2,000. Yeah. Sharps 60 and 70 and 80-inch TVs are coming down in price.
How much was you said it? We looked at TVs from LG, right?
Yep, and Samsung were the OLEDs.
And one of them told us a price, right?
Well, they never came out with a definitive price, but it was pretty well established that it was going to be around $10,000 for a 55-inch TV. Now, 55 inches, is certainly a very reasonable, respectable size of TV.
It's kind of small, though.
But compared to the Vizio 70-inch and the Sharp 90-inch, which are coming, both of which, well, the 90-inch was originally at $10,000. It may come down. But, I mean, for the same price for a TV that's twice as big, people are going to go for that. Then there's the issue of 4K. And we saw this year the strong emergence of the idea, anyway, of 4K, and which is roughly 4,000 pixels across by 2,000 pixels up and down, 4 times the resolution of high-def 1080p. And so Sony now has a flat panel. It's $25,000, but it's 85 inches. So it's a very big TV. It's still very expensive, but it's an LCD. It's a well-known technology. And even though it's a little harder to make a 4K LCD display, it's still within the realm of what companies are well experienced doing. They know what they're doing when they're making an LCD TV. So to scale that up to 4K is relatively easy compared to a brand new technology like OLED or OLED. So I've seen articles that Samsung and LG have both sort of shifted their focus away from OLED towards 4K. So it's going to be very interesting at CES this year to see if those two companies or any others even come out with OLED, or if they kind of put it in the background and say, look at our new 4K, this is the big deal.
Yeah. What other surprises or new big stories were there this year?
Well, I think you nailed it. You hit it right on the head earlier in your monologue when you were talking about how 3D at home has become a big yawn.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, it's in most TVs now, or a lot of them, but you don't get the glasses.
I thought that was odd that I didn't get the glasses. It wasn't that way at first. They shipped with glasses, and then
not necessarily. You got the GT50 Panasonic.
Right.
The VT50, the high-end TV, does ship with, I think, 2 pair. So, and that's been the case.
That's what you pay the extra $1,000 for.
Exactly. And I wouldn't pay an extra $1,000 for that, for sure, because the glasses are $100 a piece.
I was trying to figure out what it is, because as far as I can tell, it's the same panel, isn't it?
Roughly. It's close to the same panel. I don't know of what the differences might be. Maybe it's hand-picked, components or whatever. Some companies do that.
Yeah, no.
Some companies do that. They say, oh, well, here's our top of the line, and these are hand-picked components.
I want Mark Lane going through the TV bins looking for one for me.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, here's a big story from 2012. Mitsubishi has announced they are getting out of the rear projection TV business,
they
which
were the
means
last man standing, weren't they?
They were the last man standing. Rear projection TVs are officially dead. Completely dead. Which is sad because it really still offered the best value, bang for the buck, if you will, for big screen TVs. Now, granted, they're bigger, they're bulkier, they take up more floor space than flat panels, and everybody wants flat panels. So, Samsung got out of it a couple years ago. Mitsubishi was the only one left, and they have finally announced they're out. So, R.I.P. RPTV, I say.
Well, that was I guess it's not as bright. It's more compact than having a front projection. You don't have to have a
correct, and it's actually plenty bright. That's
Is it?
not
Oh, okay.
Problem. Yeah. One of the problems is, in most cases, though, you have to change the bulb, the lamp, in there every so often, couple thousand hours, except for the Mitsubishi laser TVs, which, as you're so fond of saying, it's better. It has lasers.
But isn't that true of front projection as well? You change the lamp, and they're still making front projection. Why still make front projection and not make rear projection?
Well, because front projection, you can make the size of the screen basically anything you want. It's not a fixed size.
I see.
You can adapt it to whatever environment you have. Now, you need a dark environment for a front projector, but it's really the most cinematic experience at home because it duplicates the whole process of when you go to the movies, out to the movies.
Right.
You have a projector in the back of the room and it's firing onto a screen.
Right.
Same thing with a front projector. And as I say, it's much more flexible. It gives you the option of having a 100-inch screen or a 150-inch screen if you have the real estate, or as small as a 60, 70-inch screen. But in that case, why not just buy a flat panel? But anyway, that's front projectors are going to be around for a long time. That is sort of the video file.
They're the high end.
That's the super high end. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. You can spend a couple $1,000 for a front projector, and then you have to spend something on a screen. As you know, you bought but you don't have to spend that much. You got a screen at mono price, as I recall.
I did. $500.
$500, and it's probably great.
Remote control.
There you go. Even better. Of course, streaming became very much more mainstream last year. The quality, I believe, is steadily improving. Online delivery, many people think is going to replace physical discs. I hope not entirely, because it's still not as good quality as Blu-ray, and I'm still a Blu-ray fan, but I'm a videophile. So for the vast majority of people, streaming video is perfectly fine. Just like for the vast majority of people, MP3 audio is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Once again, it's convenience over ultimate quality. But the quality of streaming audio and video in particular is getting better. But
it will never be Blu-ray quality.
No,
never is a big word, but that takes so much bandwidth. It seems a way off, like years off.
But as codecs get more efficient, codecs are coder decoder. It's the way that you compress the data. And that
Scott, we're out of time. But thank you so much, Scott Wilkinson, Home Theater Geek. Happy New Year. Didn't you hear the music?
I didn't.
You're not hearing the music.
I did. I'm hearing it very low now, but I didn't hear it when you said that.
Are we feeding him low-level audio? At the normal level here.
For all your scanning needs, you need to check out Epson document scanners.
Now?
They're affordable enough to add powerful document
at a normal
capture
level
to every workstation. From the Workforce DS30, the full-featured Workforce Pro.
Skype
might have been getting it out or something.
Came in, or I would have known what that meant.
Okay. You want to do that now?
No, we already did. Part of the test is
and that's what he's getting is the preamp?
Well, everything.
No, but he can hear me. You hear me fine, right?
I do.
Yeah, I know. It was the music he didn't hear.
I didn't hear the music.
Okay, I'm going to let you continue on.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
While you work on...
yeah, I guess.
on some of those problems.
Oh, by the way, Jonathan, I do have the call screening is working now.
These scanners are just incredible.
Yay! I see Christian on line 5. I don't see names or addresses for anything else. I just see Christian, Palm Springs, and then I see on line 4 license issues with antivirus, but I don't see. But the rest is blank. Maybe because she hasn't filled it in yet.
I didn't want a big old PDF.
Just FYI.
So while Leo's working on some things there, I'll be glad to talk to the chat room. Colonel Klink says those bulbs are big money. They are. They're at least a couple $100, if not more. Sometimes they can be as much as $500 for more expensive, fancier bulbs. But yeah, they're pretty expensive. So you have to count that into the cost of owning a rear projection TV. Knox Harrington says the internet infrastructure in this country isn't ready to stream 4K. I agree. That's absolutely true. But it may not be true for that much longer. For example, this company Red Digital Cinema, which makes the Red Epic camera that Peter Jackson used to shoot The Hobbit, and a lot of people use now. It's a digital cinema camera. They also are offering you can actually pre-order a media server. It's a hard disk-based server that can show 4K, that can actually hold and display 4K. And they've got a proprietary codec that I forget what it is now. It takes it down to like 20 megabits per second, which is 4K at 20 megabits per second. 20 megabits per second is less than what Blu-ray has available to it. Now, how good it looks, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But it's only by way of saying that codecs are getting more and more efficient. They are able to use less and less bandwidth to convey a given amount of information. And granted, 4K is a lot of information. But anyway, streaming 4K, I think, is not impossible. How good will it look remains to be seen. But there are an awful lot of people in my business who are predicting the end of physical media. I mean, Blu-ray can't even hold 4K. They would have to come up with a new disc standard to do that. So, Arbiter says they are under $100 lamps. I guess you're talking about. Could be, in some cases. Vinman says, thanks for the Onkyo recommendation. Ended up with a TX NR515 AV receiver. Very nice. Yeah, now he just needs me to tell him how to set the 10,000 options. Yeah, there are a lot of options these days. Nightstar, looking for anything at CES? The answer is yes, whatever I can find. I'll bet you we're going to see a lot of 4K. We're actually going to pre-record Home Theater Geeks for Monday, January 7th. We're going to record it on Friday, January 4th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm going to have another panel of journalists on, a different panel than will be shown this Monday, than we pre-recorded for the end of the year show, to talk about what we expect to see.
All right, Scott, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Leo.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Back to the phones we go. And let's see who's been hanging on for a while. Christian in Palm Springs, California. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Christian.
And by the way, the ham caller here is K6YNW.
Well, now I have to remember, because I say, hello, K6YNW. This is W6TWT.
Right. Okay. I've got Windows XP.
Okay.
I've got Win98 and 2003. I used to print, a few years ago, print documents out that would show the website in it, www.angelanimals.net, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I print it out, it prints out, and matter of fact, it'll change it in the whole document, bookmark not found in bold print. Any solution for that?
Before it would print the URL or the page?
Uh-huh.
Which? Before it would print the URL or the page. Which was it?
Yes. Any website, it would print it out. Now it replaces with when it prints.
And what were you doing? What program were you doing that with?
This is either Windows 2003.
But what program inside of the operating system were you using?
It's XP.
Yeah, that's the operating system. So I need to know what the browser were you doing in the browser?
Well, I copy. I scroll over these on the email.
You were doing it from your email package. Okay, that's what I'm trying to find out.
To my Word program.
Oh, you're doing it from Word.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there you go. That's the program I'm curious about. So you're in a browser and you say, "Oh, look, I like this site," and you copy from the top of the page the address and you paste it into Word, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's there, and you can read it in Word. It says http://www.animalplanet.com or whatever it is.
Yes, but now even I put print preview, it'll change it to the bold bookmark not found.
Yeah. So what it's trying to do, I think Word got too smart is what happened, and it sounds like it's trying to expand that bookmarker some way. Do you want just the http://animalplanet.com, or do you want the actual page in the printout?
Well, as I say, the same computer.
Yeah, I'm just curious what you're looking for. What is it that you want it to do?
This has to do with my printer more than anything else.
All right, I can't help you because I don't really understand what you want to do, and apparently neither do you. So I would suggest if you just want the text of the website, the name of the website to appear, what you want to do is format that with Word. You tell it this is not a link. It's just plain text. Word, when you paste in a link, it goes, oh, it's a link. And it makes it blue and underlined, and it treats it specially. It treats it in the way so that you can click it and open a website. If you just want the URL, that's what that's called, the address to print, just select it and then select the normal style. Say, this is not a link. This is just normal. And it'll print out just fine. If you want it to print out the page, I think what you're going to have to do is copy the contents of the page and paste it into Word, or maybe embed the page into Word. It's a little bit different. But the problem is I can't apparently get from you what you want to do, so I can't tell you exactly what you need to do. Doug's in Marietta, California. He's next. He has terrible Wi-Fi in his RV. Can I help? Well, I'll certainly try. But do we, Jonathan, should I take a break here or do we not? Because it's a holiday. We probably don't have any ads, right?
No, sir, no ads.
No reason to stop. So let's go right into Doug from Marietta. Hi, Doug.
Hi, hello, Leo.
Yes, hi.
Hi. My question is that I live in an RV and I don't get very good Wi-Fi, and I was just you guys were just talking about TV coming in by the internet.
Yeah.
Movies and things like that all coming in by the internet.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
And I'm just trying to find a good solution for getting video over the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you need to have enough bandwidth to watch Netflix or Hulu or a web page. You need to get enough bandwidth that you can actually stream it.
Right.
And now let me ask you, when you say you're not getting good Wi-Fi in the RV, where are you getting this Wi-Fi from?
Well, right now I've got AT&T. So you're using my iPhone.
You're using okay. So you're using is it an iPhone 4 or an iPhone 5? Older one.
4.
Okay, so you've got 3G on that one. They didn't go to LTE, the latest version, until iPhone 5. That's why I asked. So you've got 3G on that iPhone, and then. Now, here's the first question. Can you just look at the iPhone and launch, there's Netflix for the iPhone, there's Hulu Plus for the iPhone. Can you launch YouTube video and watch it streaming at a normal bandwidth on the iPhone?
Well, yes, in some locations, but I move around the country and don't get good reception, good connections all the time.
Right.
And it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. It's frustrating. Cell phone internet access is spotty. It depends, of course, on where you are. It also depends on how many other people are using that cell site. So the cell phone company, AT&T in your case, provides a certain amount of access to each cell site. Each cell site needs its own pipe. Usually it's a megabit or two to that cell site. It varies. And if one person's using it, you get the full bandwidth from that cell site. So sometimes you'll get better results in a more rural area where there are fewer people trying to use their cell phone data than you would in an urban area where that site may get a lot of bandwidth, but it's shared among 100, 200, 500, 1,000 people. So it's shared from that cell site. So that's why, and you probably noticed this, cell phone bandwidth is all over the place. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's terrible. It's unpredictable. It shifts within seconds depending on how people are using that cell site. One of the reasons, frankly, 3G is not great for streaming video. 4G also not great for streaming video. So that's part of the issue. But now you're in an RV. You don't have a whole lot of choices. 3G and 4G is pretty much it. You can't take a landline with you. Now, when you get to an RV park or, you could probably get access to their internet, right?
Well, yeah, and that works some places really good, some places not so good.
Yeah, that's a very similar problem. So the campground has a certain amount of bandwidth, and then it's shared among all the other people at the campground. And the problem is everybody's trying to do what you're doing. They all want to watch Netflix, and they all want to do it at 7 p.m. and it crashes. It just can't handle it.
Well, I got two quick follow-up questions. One is, would a cell phone extender? I think there's a company called Wilson.
Yeah, they do. So that could be one of the issues is inside the RV, you might not be getting as good a signal to the cell phone as you would be if you were outside the RV. But one way you could verify that is take your iPhone, go outside and see, can I watch Netflix outside on my iPhone? And it looks good. You know, one of the things Netflix does is it lowers the quality depending on your bandwidth. And so Netflix might continue to work, but just look worse and worse and worse and worse. But go outside, see if it's a lot better. If it is, then maybe something like the Wilson cell phone extender will you put an antenna outside and it goes in through a wire to the inside, and then you can get better reception. Are you getting 4 bars inside this RV, or are you getting no bars?
Again, it really
varies.
Depends on where I am.
Right, and how you're oriented, because it's also line of sight. So, aim the RV at the cell tower if you could figure out where that is, and you get better results. This is just in general, and somebody's saying in the chat room, and this is a good point. If you're driving a metal RV, you got one of those beautiful old the Airstreams. They're so gorgeous, but they're covered in aluminum. That's going to make much worse reception inside. If it's not plastic siding or something like that, then that's better. So you see, there's so many factors in this. It's going to be difficult to improve this, Doug, because it's not necessarily bad reception. It may be bad reception, but it also may be just congestion on the network.
One quick last question. What size plan do I need to get to be able to stream?
Now you get another problem, right? Bandwidth caps, because they don't really want you to be doing this. You buy 2 or 3 gigs, you'll use that up in a month. I'd say 3 gigs would be the minimum, 3 gigabytes a month, depending on how much you watch. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. By the way, I'm still getting echo on the calls, just so you know. It didn't fix the echo. It's not as bad, I think, but it just varies. So, like that, the caller with the who couldn't figure out what was going on with Word, John, he was echoing.
Okay, I'm taking notes. And heads up, there's only one live on the log today, and that's in the last hour. I tried to mention it right before Scott, but it might not have been heard, so I apologize.
I didn't hear you. Yeah, one live when?
He said it's not 32.
It'll be in the 1 o'clock hour.
Okay, good. I won't do any worry about that.
And there's not a billboard until the 1 o'clock hour as well.
Great.
Right now, go to
So I will remind you before it, and then when we do it, just so. But as of right now, nothing.
935 ESET. And don't forget to like ESET USA on Facebook.
Let Scott go on.
Break.
You still there? Go ahead.
Totally up to you.
It's all yours, Scotty.
Cool. So I'm back. Chat room. Hit me. Got any questions? I've been chatting away with folks. Web0942 is asking me about a new audio standard for recording music, and I don't know what he or she is talking about. We've also been talking a little bit about Pono D-to-A conversion service, which is Neil Young's new thing. And I must admit, I don't know much about it. I have to read about it. And Waikiki Guru has sent me a link, so I'm really happy for that. Thank you, Waikiki Guru. While I'm here talking to you, I'm not going to go look at it, but I will as soon as we're done, certainly. Web0942 says, more info on recordings. I still don't know what you mean by that. SciPal Kurt says, are RCA TVs good TVs, or are they going downhill? Boy, I haven't looked at one in a really long time. Last I heard, they had been bought by a French company, TCL, I think. And I wasn't necessarily that impressed with them when I saw them on the CES show floor. I can't really say, of course, because that's a very poor environment to evaluate displays, but Anyway, Lord Dragon says, just ordered a Samsung 40-inch 5000 series. It is a solid TV. Absolutely, Lord Dragon. I recommend the 5000 and the 6000 to many people. The 6000 has frame interpolation. The 5000 doesn't at 60 hertz. So otherwise, they're virtually identical. So I would definitely applaud that decision. I think the 5000 is a great TV, especially a great low-cost TV. So it's absolutely. NOP90, do you like Denon headphones? Haven't really used them. I love Denon equipment generally, so I can't imagine they'd be bad. Denon receivers are great. So, I would say sure, absolutely. I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't be good. Knox Harrington, does RCA actually exist as a company, or is it like Polaroid, just a name that people license? I don't actually know the answer to that question. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just kind of a licensing deal at this point. Rocklaw says, what about the new Bose Solo home theater box that goes under the TV? Similar to a large wave radio. Well, I'll have to tell you, as I've said before, I'm not a fan of Bose audio, other than their noise-canceling headphones, which I really like. But in terms of home theater audio, I do not like it. If you want an under-the-TV sound system, the way to go there is a company called Zvox, Z-V-O-X. They make what they call sound bass, which is exactly that. It's a larger thing that sits on the stand, and then the TV sits on top of that. And they make a really, really good sound. They're not cheap, but I don't imagine the Bose is either. Bose, I've always said, is much better at marketing than they are at actual quality in most cases, the headphones being the notable exception. But in terms of this sound bass thing, like a sound bar but deeper, and to put your TV on, Zvox is absolutely the way to go. No question about it. Let's see. Euchre asks if I have a buyer's guide for LCDs on my site. The answer is no. But I will, once I land on a site where I have the resources to do that, I will. Absolutely. I think it's a really important idea. So Mark Boston is asking, is the 5000 and 6000 plasma or LCD? It's LCD. Samsung is what we're talking about here, the Samsung EH5000 and EH6000. Those are both LCD TVs with LED illumination, which virtually all LCDs are these days, primarily because the older style LCD TVs used fluorescent bulbs as a light source. But fluorescent bulbs have mercury in them, and they're not very environmentally friendly. And so most TVs have gone over to LED now as the illumination source. The important thing to know about the Samsung EH5000 and EH6000 is that the LEDs, unlike most LCD TVs on the market today, these lower-end Samsungs have the LEDs behind the LCD screen. And this is an advantage because when the LEDs are around the edge, you get very uneven illumination, particularly in dark scenes. Like if you're watching Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that in a scene in space, you'll see kind of lighter corners or lighter edges than in the middle, because the edge-lit LCD TVs can't get the light perfectly evenly to all parts of the screen. Whereas if LEDs are behind the screen, the illumination is much more even. Now, I will also say that even though it's got LEDs behind the screen, they do not implement what's called local dimming, which only very expensive LED TVs with LEDs behind the screen implement. In that case, the LEDs behind the dark parts of the picture dim. They dynamically get dimmer, and the LEDs behind the bright parts of the image brighten up. So you get this great contrast, and it looks amazing. But the Samsung doesn't do that because it's a low-end TV. It's their entry-level TV. So it does have the advantage of greater uniformity, illumination uniformity, but it does not have local dimming. The other, and really the only negative on the Samsungs in my book, is that when you have a completely dark screen, like, for example, watching Law and Order, and between scenes they go to black, and then it comes up with a little card that says where they are and in so-and-so address in New York or whatever. The LEDs can sometimes cut completely off, and it just goes totally black and then comes back on. That can be a little distracting. That happens once in a while. The
Premier Channel 7.
Generally speaking, they're so good otherwise that I recommend them. I think they are definitely worth the money. Becky asks, what TVs out there have PIP, picture-in-picture, with 2 TV receivers or tuners? Very few, Becky. The answer is I don't know of any. TV manufacturers have stopped doing that because most people get their TV signal from someplace else.
All right, Scott, thank you.
Here we go. Have fun.
All right, take care. Scott Wilkinson, HomeTheaterHiFi.com. So it's, did you fix it, John? Because it's not fixed in my headphones. Yeah. And I was still hearing it with Scott.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't know where that came from. It's time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, and all that jazz. I think I was channeling Krusty the Clown. Hey, kids! Time to talk tech! 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A. Dale is on the line from Covina, California. Hi, Dale.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you great. Can you hear me?
I will in a minute.
Oh.
Okay.
There you go. Turn it up. Don't turn up your radio, though.
No, my radio is not on.
Good.
All right.
You would hear me, but you'd hear me 40 seconds later.
I love you.
Thank you.
Love your show.
Thank you, Dale.
Last week, you made a comment on Saturday about, I don't know, something, along the lines of, don't buy Windows 8.
Now, well, that's not a fair characterization. In fact, I think what I said was it depends on the person.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, like some of the people on your show, but I'm pretty tech savvy. So I bought Windows 8 for my husband, who is not tech savvy.
Yeah, I think that's a good person to buy Windows 8 for.
But okay, I'm working with him. We can't seem to find. We can't figure out how you get to what the heck the programs are on it.
You will. Windows 8, you have to spend a little time with, and you're at a disadvantage, Dale, because you used Windows 7 and you know how to do it then.
Exactly.
And he's not at a disadvantage, but he's still one of the complaints that people have made about Windows 8. In fact, the esteemed usability company Nielsen Norman did some testing on it, and one of the things they found was they called it poor discoverability. That is the ability to figure out how to do something, to discover it.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky in 8. Now, I'll give you a couple of hints. It'll make it a lot easier.
Okay.
Do you have a Windows keyboard? One with a Windows logo on the bottom row there?
Right.
Because that Windows key is very handy. For instance, if you just tap the Windows key, that brings you back to that start screen.
Right.
From anywhere. So that's handy. And you could do other things with the Windows 8 key. For instance, desktop. If you want to use the traditional kind of Windows 7 style desktop, I think it's Windows key D. And you'll pop up the desktop. But here's an even better thing. Let's say you want to run a program. Start typing the first few letters of the program. And lo and behold, the search pops up with those first few letters typed in, and it'll show you on the right-hand side where that charms bar would be, it'll show you the search results. And you can actually, it defaults to apps. So if you're trying to launch, say, Microsoft Word, you type WOR, and then hit return, Word will run.
Okay.
So there's a few, there's a few things like that.
So even though there may not be something on the screen that shows that you're typing in, you just start typing when you have all those tiles up.
Yeah. Make sure you're in the tiles thing. So, maybe a good habit would be to hit the Windows key first to make sure you're in that start. They call that the start screen. You're in the start screen and then start typing. And but there are some weird things. For instance, rearranging the tiles is odd because you have to. At least on my now, did you get you got RT or you got a Windows? Which did you get? A full Windows 8 computer, or did you get a tablet?
No, it's a notebook.
You didn't get the Surface, okay? So on the Surface, for instance, which I have right in front of me, in order to rearrange the tiles, you have to it's weird. You have to pull it down first, and then you can drag it around. There's little things like that. And, I'm sure this is all documented somewhere. It's got to be.
Yeah, okay, so right now, while I was waiting for you, I started to have some serious thoughts about installing Windows 7 in this.
Sure.
Instead. So you say just keep working with it.
Well, especially for your husband. If the truth is, in my opinion, Windows 7 is the best version of Windows ever.
Right.
It just was great. All the rough edges were smoothed out. It was reliable. It's been around long enough now, a few years, so that it's been patched and is certainly as secure as any other version. Probably more secure than most. It's a polished, established operating system. Does everything you want it to do. It really is the best version of Windows ever. Yeah. Now with 8, Microsoft decided, rightly or wrongly, they said reimagine Windows, and they did. They did. It's very different, and so that's going to throw people who are used to Windows 7. Your husband maybe not so much. Okay. But discovery is tough. For instance, so now your laptop, is it a touch screen?
No, it's not a touch screen.
Okay, that's one of the problems, by the way. I do recommend if people are going to buy Windows 8, getting a touch screen. Most of the Windows 8 hardware that just came out has a touch screen because it's certainly not that you have to have it by no means. You can do everything you want to do with keyboard and mouse. But there's just some things that make more sense with the touch screen. For instance, that Charms bar on the right, you can do Windows key C, I think, but it seems so much simpler just to slide in with your finger from the right-hand side. Similarly, going from program to program, you slide in from the left-hand side, and you can shift through programs. You can also share the screen by, take a full screen and turn it into two windows by sliding it in. There's just little things that you can do with touch that, yes, you can do with a keyboard and mouse, but are much easier with touch. So, did you buy this in the Windows 7 time frame and then upgrade to Windows 8? Is that what you did?
Yeah, by the time I started shopping for this, it was very hard to find them with a Windows 7 left.
Yeah. So you kind of had to get Windows 8. Here's the deal. I would say, and by the way, Julie Larson-Green, who took over from Steven Sinofsky when he was fired from Microsoft. He was the guy who created Windows 8 and was fired about a couple of weeks after it came out. Julie Larson-Green has taken over from him. Even she says, give it a couple of weeks. She says, we're seeing it takes people about 2 weeks to get used to it. That's a long time if you're trying to get something done.
Yeah.
But I think that's about right. So if after 2 weeks, Dale, you and your husband are still going, scratching your head going, how do you... But then go back to Windows 7. I truthfully think that Windows 8 is... It's hard for me to come up with the right phrase for that. I admire Microsoft's gumption. I think they took a lot of mojo to do this. And they felt like they had to because they wanted to be modern and the world is moving towards tablets and touch. I think it's misguided. I think it's probably what they had to do because if they didn't do it, they would be relegated to the ash heap of history eventually. But maybe that's just the way it is because I think that this was such a change that their existing audience, their existing users are just going to be baffled and new users are just going to use something else. So I think frankly this was – it's a little early still, but at this point I think it was a mistake. I think there are a lot of people like you, Dale.
We will we'll keep trying.
Yeah, try it. See if you can get used to it. if you can't, by all means, just go back to Windows 7. Okay. Windows 7 will be around for a while for this very reason. Microsoft's not going to abandon it. For instance, if you're a business, you are not upgrading to Windows 8. I'm sitting here looking at, half a dozen Dell PCs running Windows 7 in our finance and accounting and business office, and I'd have to be nuts to move them to Windows 8. They'd lynch me. They'd say, "What is this?" It'd be easier for them to use a Mac than it would be to use Windows 8. It's that big of a change. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
I'd love to tell you about Perfection photo scanners from Epson and
calls. Isn't that interesting? On the analog Zephyr. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that special? She was echoing. Make sure on the Zephyr the monitors to SND LED is off. Only RCV should be on, says CD Rat. I don't know what that means. He just was on the line with Telos. They told him what to do. The monitor to send LED is off. Oh, yeah, that CD Rat, that would be if we're using headphones. I know about that, but we're not. We're doing something else. Where are we getting the audio out of this?
Which way? Where? What?
Where's the audio? It's that, right?
% off your purchase.
You know it, I know it, and almost everyone does. It's so important to back up.
So that's the check.
That most people don't do it
right.
automatically. And
was this send on that? Because I shouldn't be monitoring send and receive. Just receive.
Carbonite makes it effortless.
Thank you, CD Rat.
Your computer.
I thought they'd have fixed that.
Carbonite backs up your files automatically and continually.
I played with this one. I thought that was connected to but that's for the headphones.
Carbonite,
so this is what we're so low.
Remember to back up again.
It's off.
Ever. Just set it up once, which is really
but we are
easy
using
to
that.
do. And Carbonite.
That's why I didn't mess with it because it was all the way down. So this is me
on any computer or on your smartphone or iPad.
Well, let's see if that fixes that. That might fix it. Yeah, because you shouldn't be monitoring send.
Right, that was the problem. We just couldn't figure out.
It's just that little button there. Thank you, CD Rat.
Credit card required.
Yeah,
Use
that was your mistake, talking to Telos experts.
You'll get 2 free bonus months if you decide to buy.
Well, I think that'll fix it, but let's see. You can't use Windows 8 with a classic shell unless maybe Stardock is doing a classic shell. I'm not sure why you would even want to. It's IAZ's fault. Kirk's been helping us very generously, Bogo. Kirk's been helping us for a while.
I talked to him today, too.
Yep, we talked to him today even.
He got the Telos experts on my case.
The last show of the year is tomorrow. Oh, classic cell.sourceforge. That's an interesting idea. I haven't tried that. How is it? Yeah, well, in order to see if we could fix the echo, we are using today the very old analog Zephyr that we used for years in the old studio in the cottage. In order to use the Axia system, we started using a digital Zephyr, a digital Telos that supported the live wire technology that the Axia uses. However, there was some concern that the live wire was causing the problems, or the digital Zephyr was the problem, even though we've swapped it out twice. So I'm back on the analog, and that's where we were getting the phasing, was because the analog was misconfigured. But I think we have fixed that. Now, and I'll know as soon as we go back, but now the question is it fixing the echo? And it's not. So now we're really baffled. So there. So there.
One way or another, I'm going to get you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I didn't know this, but there is a program called Classic Shell. The chat room was telling me about it at classicshell.sourceforge.net that turns Windows 8 into Windows 7 effectively. The shell is that user interface that you see. You know, that new tiled start screen and all of that stuff. So Classic Shell, it says, is a collection of features. It's free, too, open source. I love that the logo is a seashell divided into the Windows colors. It's a collection of features that were available in older versions of Windows but were later removed. It has a customizable start menu, yay, and start button, yay, for Windows 7 and Windows 8. And it adds a toolbar for Windows Explorer and supports a variety of smaller features. So, interesting idea. Now, in general, I don't like to put shells on Windows only because I've seen issues in terms of performance and reliability. But, Dale and others who are saying, I don't like the touch screen. I don't like the tiles. I don't like Metro. This might be a choice for you. At least it's free. You could try it for free. And I'm sure it's easy to get rid of, too. classicshell.sourceforge.net. We'll put a link in the show notes. Show notes are online at techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. That's where you also find a link to the chat room where you can help me out by suggesting things like that. I might also recommend, we have on the website for every show the question and answer pairs of every question and every answer. In fact, after the fact, when we put the video of the show up on YouTube, we make video of the show. When we put that up on YouTube, we'll even link to that. So if you go to previous shows, you'll see the question, the answer, in shorthand, just simplified, synopsized. But you'll also be able to click the video and watch right from that point the question and the answer. But my reason I mention this is there's also a comment section, and I would love it if you have an edition like that Classic Shell, go to the Dale Leo interchange and add that in the comments. Because what I'd like is over time for this to become a valuable resource, not just of what I think, but what all of you have to say about any given subject. And it's always free. There's no charge to use it. There's no, it's paid for by our fine advertisers. Debbie's in Los Angeles. Her next call. Hi, Debbie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, Debbie.
Yes. I got a high-definition TV for Hanukkah.
Congratulations.
And I've had, old-fashioned TVs, so I don't know what I need to do. I have Dish.
Okay.
Do I need to do anything to get the high definition from it?
Yes. I believe so. Now, I'm not a Dish subscriber, but I believe you would need the high-def HD receiver for Dish.
Okay.
And chat room will correct me. I'm sure there's Dish subscribers there. This is almost always the case. It's certainly true for cable, and it was probably true for all the satellite providers as well. They make an analog one, and then for $4 or $5 extra, because, of course, they're going to charge extra, you can get the HD version of the receiver. And the way you'll know it's HD is it'll have that little connector that looks kind of like a USB connector. It's called HDMI. That's the connector that goes into your new high-def TV, and it carries audio and high-def video into the TV. So you need to, and then, of course, you'll need to subscribe to HD channels. Not all the channels are high-def. So you want to make sure you get the HD content as well as the capability of receiving it. All of which is going to cost you more money.
Yeah, so it's a total upgrade with everything.
Yeah. What did you expect? Has anything ever cost less? I don't think so, no. New is always more expensive.
Is there an HD brand that you recommend over any other TV?
Well, you already got one. Tell me what one you got, and I'll tell you how great it is. I'll tell you what I think.
Westinghouse.
Oh.
Yeah. But I have, so I
somebody who gave it to you?
Oh, my daughter.
Oh, isn't she sweet? Oh,
makes $9 an hour and saved up for it.
Yeah, so she did the best she could, dear.
Yes, she did.
Sweetheart. Westinghouse isn't Westinghouse for one thing.
Yeah.
It's a Chinese company that bought the name and puts the name on their TV.
Oh.
Maybe it's not even Chinese. It might be Korean. But it's not bad. It's not bad. There are better TVs. I hate this. I mean, your daughter, that's so sweet.
I know.
And,
and I love it. It upgraded me.
Yeah, you might not, it might not be an issue for you. First of all, you're not, one thing that will happen is you'll watch the old, low, standard definition stuff will look terrible on it. And that's not the fault of the TV. That's just because it does look terrible. And a good TV showing how terrible it looked, always.
Right.
So that's not the TV. So, maybe higher-end TVs would kind of try to smooth it out, but standard definition just doesn't look good on a high-def TV. That's why you have to upgrade everything else. Oh, your sweetheart daughter. That is very nice of her.
I know.
That's fine. That's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
But she doesn't care if I upgrade from that. So.
Well, you could a little bit. I mean, she got it probably at Walmart, right?
Target,
okay. Yeah, it's kind of like their house brand. Do you have to upgrade it at Target?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I like. What I bought was Panasonic Plasma. Those are, to my mind, those are the best. A lower price range that's very good is Vizio. Those are usually sold at the big box stores. Vizio. Samsung is also very good. LG is good. Sharp is good. If you want to keep it less expensive, but a little quality upgrade from Westinghouse, I think Vizio would be a good choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. I love your show.
I appreciate your call, Debbie, and your daughter's a sweetheart. That is a nice gift.
I'll tell her.
Yeah, don't tell her I did. I think Westinghouse is fine. Thanks, Debbie. I don't want to step on any toes. I have to. We buy the cheapest. What do we buy? TCL. The Creative Life. That has got to be the cheapest TV. How much does those cost?
$400 for a 46.
$400 for a 46-inch TV. But we don't care, right? Well, no, because we're not watching TV on it. We're using them as monitors in the studio. And Leo can't tell the difference anyway. Buy the cheapest thing you can find for Leo. What does he know? He's an old man. No, at home I have, and I love it. Now, the best TV out there, I'll just tell you what the best TV out there is. It's the Panasonic VT series. They make a 50, a 60, and a 65. And the best, it's not, given what you're getting, $3,000 or $4,000, I think. Maybe it's $3,000 for 65 inches. It's amazing. The VT 65 from Panasonic, it's a Viera, I think most agree, including Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy, the best TV you can get. It's a plasma. One of the reasons now plasma takes more energy, more power, so your power bill's higher and it's less environmentally friendly. Although they've improved that. That's the negative on plasma, but plasmas don't have a lot of the negative visual flaws that the LCDs and LED backlit LCDs do. So, I couldn't be happier. I got the GT65, which is fine for me. Highly recommended. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. No problem with burn-in images. That's gone. That's not a problem anymore. Let's see what the Panasonic costs here. $3,500. For a 65-inch TV, that's really remarkable. That's really remarkable. Because I got the VT, I spent less. I spent $1,000 less. And I'm not sure if there's that much difference. I cheaped out on it. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if Johnny Jet's available. Let me check my email. I don't know. Oh, Johnny! Why don't you try calling him and see if he answers? JOHNNY. I don't see any emails from him, but that doesn't mean he's not. If he's not, is he online? Just ask him if he's. Well, I'll ask him. Oh, Johnny! I think he wanted to do. I don't know.
It's Johnny.
Do you want to do the show today?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Johnny Jet.
Come on, man.
I saw that cute picture of you and Amber.
Yes.
Sorry,
Can
John.
you believe she's...
Amber, yeah.
Yeah, she was. She lives in the place where my dad lives, the same building.
Oh, that's hysterical. Well, she doesn't. Her folks stay there.
Right, her folks do, but
yeah, that's where it's where people's parents go.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. Good.
So
people love you, Johnny. The Twitter,
really,
the chat room, everybody's going crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a hit.
It's always nice to be loved.
Yay! And your audio sounds good. I think we'll be okay. You never know. Are you still in Florida, or did you come back?
I'm in Florida, but I'm in my sister's house, so I'm on a stronger internet.
Much better, yeah.
We might hear a dog barking that I locked up in the garage.
I don't mind. I like barking dogs. I got my dog here too. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Did you have a good Christmas?
I did. It was quiet. I'm down here in Florida with my dad, basically just watching him.
Oh, that's nice. How old's your dad?
So, 84.
Wow, mine's 80.
My dad would hate for me to tell people how old he is. So don't tell anyone.
It's a secret. It's just us and a few thousand strangers. Awesome.
Oh. So the audio is okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I just sent you my notes.
Oh,
I created a post because last week my internet wasn't that great and the delays are still there, and I only got through half of my apps and websites.
Well, that's pretty much you can count on that. You only get
I thought I would cruise through the beginning part that we covered last week and then talk into a little bit more detail of the other ones.
Perfect. Basically you get to do whatever you want. It's always good. And
you gotta love that.
I will always send people to johnnyjet.com for more.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's all my Twitter has just blown up since since I've been on with you.
I noticed. The Twitter people love you. You're a hit.
I got at least 1,000 new followers because of you.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good conversion rate.
That's awesome.
1 in 100 or something. 1 in 1,000. That's probably about right, actually. This is where I want a vacation next.
Yeah,
I don't know where it
Switzerland?
is.
Switzerland.
It looks like Switzerland, doesn't it? It looks like a little cabin.
That's definitely Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited about Venice, though. I can't wait. That's going to be really fun.
I'm telling you, you might see me on the ship.
Good. It'd be fun if you and Natalie came. That'd be a blast. So I thank you for that blog post. That was great. 10 things you should know before you go to Italy was great. Like where to get real gelato. It was great.
That was the most important one.
I thought so. Look at the banana gelato. If it's gray, eat there. Yep. That's right. You don't want bright yellow. Bad sign. Here we go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And it's time for Johnny Jet, the travel guy. Johnny joins us each week, our newest regular on the show, to talk about using technology to make your travel better, easier, cheaper, faster, all those superlatives. Hello, Johnny. Are you back from Florida? Or are you still in Florida?
I'm still in Florida, enjoying the warm weather, 82 degrees today.
Oh, show off. I got to thank you. Johnny knows that I'm going in the fall. I'm going on a cruise, and we're starting in Venice. And your friend, what's her name?
Jennifer Dabrowski.
She compiled a list. You can find it on Johnny's blog, johnnyjet.com, of 10 things you have to know so that you can get a better experience in Italy. You know, the things that the Italians know that tourists tend not to. And the one I loved was how to get real gelato in Italy. And this is the advice. It's very simple. Look at the banana-flavored gelato. If it's bright yellow, go. Leave. Don't go back. If it's grayish, that's what you want. That's real gelato.
That's the real gelato.
They have to make it every day. They can't, you know.
Yep. It only lasts so long.
Yeah. So that was a good tip.
It was a great tip.
What do you want to talk about? Well, I guess we should finish up last week because you ran out of time last week.
Correct. So, last week I talked about, and still today, there's so many flight delays. There's a big storm in the Northeast. So a lot of people don't know what to do if there's a flight delay. And, if you arm yourself with websites and apps, it can make your experience so much better.
All right.
So number one, before you go anywhere, always know the weather. I check weather.com, but there's tons of other websites and apps that you can use, and that's easy. Okay.
Check the weather where you're leaving from and where you're going to, and if you're
the
layovers. Because if you're flying through Chicago to New York, you got to consider Chicago.
That's what you want to know for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, avoid those hubs that do have problems usually. And actually, obviously, the best is a nonstop. It might cost a little bit more money, but your chances of getting delayed diminish greatly.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Also, you double the flight delays every extra stop.
For sure. So, and if there are flight delays, check the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration's flight delay air traffic control system. They have 23 of the top U.S. airports, and they'll let you know if there's any ground delays or whatever. But because it's not flight specific, you need to sign up for every airline's flight notifications. They all offer them, or almost all of them offer them. Just go in to their website. I actually have a page with them all, and just put in your email or your cell phone, whatever you want, and they'll notify you. And sometimes you get notified before the gate does.
Now, you said every airline. You really only need to sign up for the airlines you fly, right?
Correct. Whatever airline you're flying, just sign up for theirs.
Right.
Okay? And also make sure you load your phone with the websites and numbers of every airline that you're flying. And just in case there is a cancellation or a delay, if there is one, just jump in line and also call.
Right.
Because you know what? Usually the person on the phone will answer quicker than the person in line, and they can do the same exact stuff. So that's important. Time is of the essence, because these days there's not a lot of empty seats on planes. And if you want to get to where you're going, you need to jump on it. Don't wait around.
I remember that, if you missed a flight, it wasn't a big deal. You get the next flight. That's not the case anymore. Because there are no empty seats. That's
right.
It's very hard to get on.
You could be stuck. But by the way, my sister just flew to Barbados the other day from Miami. She showed up at 8:30 for a 10 o'clock flight. She was the last people to check in. I don't know why she didn't check in 24 hours in advance. But they said we were oversold, and you know what? You can't get on. We don't have a flight till the next day. I said, listen, if they involuntarily bump you, you're supposed to get $1,300. So I told her to be nice to the gate agent. She went over to the gate agent, and the gate agent said, okay, don't tell anyone, but come over here. She gave them each a check for $1,300 and put them on the next flight, which was 8 hours later. But that's awesome. $1,300. That's pretty good. So make sure.
You might want to get bumped.
Okay. Heck, I want to get bumped.
That's not all. And you said this from the day one. If your flight plans are flexible, you're always better off. That's one way flexibility can help you. You can volunteer to be bumped, get an extra round trip ticket anywhere they fly. Often
that was actually cash for her, but usually they give you a airline voucher.
That's nice.
Okay. Also, follow the airlines on Twitter, whatever airline you're following. And I have a list on mine. I actually updated it since last week. I now have 80 or 100 different airlines. I also updated the airports, so you can follow whatever airport you're traveling through, just in case they're giving some good updates.
Twitter.com/JohnnyJet is his website.
That's right. Yeah. And something I didn't mention last week is a site called Flightcaster.com. So 6 hours before your flight is supposed to take off, you can go in there, put your flight number if it's domestic, and it will tell you what the chances are of your flight being on time.
It's predictions.
Yes. It's 6 hours before.
How useful is that going to be?
I love it. I use it all the time.
And they have an app, apparently, for both BlackBerry and iOS.
Yep.
So is that based on historic records?
It is.
Yeah.
But they can also tell, you should also, actually that's a whole other thing. I can't even get into that right now. But another app we talked about briefly last week that every traveler loves is TripIt. I don't even think I need to talk about it.
I love TripIt. If you're a frequent traveler, TripIt is great.
And it's worth the $49 a year if you're a frequent traveler for the pro version. Yeah. Otherwise, it's free.
Yeah. It actually takes your flight plans from your email and creates the itinerary for you. Couldn't be
perfect because everyone's booking on different sites. So instead of trying to print it all up, you just send it right to TripIt, and it will compile it all in one nice email that you can print up with all your travel plans.
They're adding more all the time, more features. You know what makes me mad though? They used to track United frequent flyer miles. United's disconnected them. Said nope.
Same with Delta.
That's terrible.
These guys it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Another great site in case there's a major delay is crankyconcierge.com. So you have to pay for this, but in case you don't book through a travel agent, because if you book through a travel agent, they will do the work for you. If there's a cancellation, they'll get on the phone, rebook you. But if not, and there's like these serious weather delays like there are now, instead of being on hold for hours, you can call Cranky Concierge, pay the fee. I'm not even sure what it is. I think it varies from $35 to $200.
But it could well be worth it, boy.
It could well be worth it, and they'll do all the work for you, and they'll follow up after to resolve any disputes. And I think we have time for one more. The last one I have is Hotel Tonight, which is a great app.
Hotel Tonight.
And that's Hotel Tonight, over 3 million downloads. So if you're in the airport, your flight is canceled, don't wait for the airline to book you in a hotel because they're going to go quick. You know what? Get on Hotel Tonight. They have up to 70% off, and it's all only for last minute. So it has to be after 12 p.m. that day for hotels that night.
This is one thing that's different about hotels from airlines. Neither hotels nor airlines want to fly with an empty seat or go through a night with an empty room. But airlines have ways of getting rid of those empty seats through consolidators and so forth. Hotels use these kinds of websites. So
actually, this is not a website. You got to use it through an app.
It's an app.
That's the way they get around it. You cannot book online. It has to be through your app or your iPad.
App now. It's on iPhone, iOS, also on Android.
Yeah. So those are important tips, and you know what? Make the most of it. Keep a good attitude. Do not give gate agents or flight attendants a hard time. You'll go nowhere.
Yep.
It's not their fault. And bring them chocolate. That's what I always do. Bring them chocolate. Last week I brought them Go-Go in-flight passes, Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's a good. So they use that too, huh?
Of course, because they're always flying back and forth to commute.
Ah, interesting.
They can't use it while they're working, obviously.
No. That's clever. Yeah, you bribe the gate agent, basically, because
You don't have to bribe them. You just got to be nice. You got to be sincerely nice.
They hold your travel fate in the palm of their hand.
Dude, I get upgraded. I still get upgraded.
See, that's something that's gone away.
It's getting tougher, a lot tougher, but once in a while, I still get upgraded for that.
You spend a lot of time going in and out of airports. Have the lines gotten longer at security? Is it slower or faster than it used to be?
It all depends on the time of year and also the airport. Miami Airport has been a mess lately. So,
this is another Johnny Jet website you got to create. Time in line.
There actually is one.
Is
the TSA has a wait time.
Oh. That's cool.
But that's based on historic as well.
Yeah.
So it's not live.
You don't know necessarily ahead of time. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's good. That's my TSA. It's not my TSA. Johnny Jet, you can find more, all his tips, all sorts of great stuff, websites too, to help you travel at johnnyjet.com. We'll talk next week. Safe travels.
All right. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Great stuff.
All right, good. We got through it all.
You got through a ton of stuff.
I talk fast, but I just wanted to make sure that I got it out.
Yeah, and I hope you don't mind. I often repeat what you say.
Folks, have you heard about ESET's cybersecurity for the
jot
Mac
it down? But what we also do, in fact, if you have an email with the notes, you sent me the email. That's perfect, because what I'll do is I'll forward that to James DeRuvo, who's taking our show notes, and Josh Windish, and they'll make sure that gets into our website as well, as long with a link to Johnny Jet.
Perfect. Thank you. And I created a post on it, so I'll tweet that out right now. I did that last week after our talk.
I think that's the way to do it, yeah. Thanks, John.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right, safe travel. Are you going to be home next week, or where are you going to be?
I'm supposed to be here. I'm going to be traveling during the week, but I'll come back, and then right after the show, I'm going to go right to the airport and fly somewhere.
Okay. Don't tell me where. We'll play that game next time.
All right.
All right. Thanks, John.
Take
See
care.
ya. Bye-bye.
Johnny Jet, everybody.
He's great. Just love that guy. That's fun, isn't it? That's our newest segment. And I don't know. I've known Johnny for years. I don't know why I didn't start with him ages ago. Hey, let's face it. We're all trying to save money these days. We're all trying to find 17 things your flight attendant won't tell you. You know that coffee you ordered? It's actually decaf, even though you asked for regular. They don't want to give you caffeinated. What? No. They don't. They say we'd rather you sit back, relax, and fall asleep so you don't bother us. Our airline sent around a memo wondering why the decaf supplies are going so fast, noting that decaf costs more than regular coffee. Oh, so it's not airline policy. It's flight attendant policy. That makes sense. When we arm the doors on your aircraft, each flight attendant checks the work of his colleagues at the opposite door. You've heard it a million times. Arm doors and cross-check. Did you hear crotch check? It wasn't your imagination. We get silly sometimes. Once in a while, we screw up and forget to arm the doors, which means the emergency slides won't automatically deploy. If it needed an emergency, we can get fired for that. Well, yeah, I would hope so. Our airline used to pay us when we showed up for duty at the airport. That was eons ago. Then we got paid our measly hourly wage when the cabin doors closed. Then it was when the brakes were released. Now we get paid only when the wheels are up. We don't even get paid when we're taxiing. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's terrible. When we greet you at the door, we do that for free. When we serve you a pre-flight drink, we do that for free. No wonder our smiles are so fake. That's terrible. If a flight is late, the airline might have to pay us overtime. If the flight is going to be late anyway, we've been known to delay it even further in order to make sure overtime kicks in. That's terrible. No. Yes, we can upgrade you to business class or first class after the airplane's door is closed. No, we won't do it very often. Partly because on some airlines we have to file a report. Partly because there has to be a meal for you, and partly because the forward cabins are often full. Who do we upgrade? Not the slob who's dressed in a dirty tank top. It helps if you're extremely nice, well-dressed, pregnant, very tall, good-looking, one of our friends, or all of the above. That makes sense. Please don't take your computer and newspaper into the lab. It's gross. And it means you're going to take longer than you should. Please don't ask me what we're flying over. I'm as clueless as you are. I'm not flying the plane. Please don't do deep knee bends in my galley while I'm trying to work. You won't get deep vein thrombosis on a flight between Houston and Austin. Jingling your glass of ice at me will not make me dash to the galley for a refill. In fact, it makes me want to scream. When I ask you what you'd like to drink and you ask me, what do you have? I want to answer, not a lot of time, but you wouldn't like that. I want to yank your headphones off your head after I've asked you what you want to drink and you've responded, 3 times. After the 4th time, I just move on or give you a Coke. Yes, we do ask the captain to leave the seatbelt sign long after the turbulence has ended so we can serve thee in the aisles. On night flights, we sometimes hold off on meal service as long as we can so you'll be asleep and we won't have as much to do. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. We put all the, I know people are wondering right now as we speak, wow, what was that site Johnny Jet remembered? The Cranky Concierge? What was that? Don't worry. Fear not. If you're driving, do not risk your life trying to write this stuff down or remember it. It's all on the webpage, techguylabs.com, including a link back to Johnny Jet's site, which is very, very useful. All you ever have to remember, ever, is techguylabs.com. Jennifer, Moreno Valley, California, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Leo. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks so much for calling.
Hello?
Hey.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
Hey, I'm having an antivirus software problem.
Uh-oh.
I've been running Avast for the last year, and I've been getting a pop-up saying that it's expiring and that I have to repurchase it.
Right.
So I went ahead and repurchased it, and I tried inserting the license key, and that was ineffective. So then I gave them a call and said, look, it's not working. And they remotely took over my computer, and they told me I was having all these problems and I needed to pay for a certified technician to fix my computer.
Avast is one of those antiviruses that's free, and then they hope that you will buy it, and apparently they hope you'll spend more money on a certified technician, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I had bought it previously.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't have, these issues.
Right. So then I went to your company, your ESET Nod 32.
Uh-huh.
They were very, very helpful. They gave me an uninstall program for the Avast.
Most of the time you do need an uninstaller for antiviruses. They are not easily uninstalled because they don't want the bad guy to be able to uninstall it, so they make it a little hard. So good. So they helped you. They said, here's how you get rid of Avast.
Right. Here's how I get rid of Avast. So I got rid of Avast, but I can't install Nod 32.
Uh-oh. Why not? What's happening?
It's going through the entire installation program, and then it gets to the very final part, and it says backing out of installation, can't connect to the internet.
Oh. Yeah. That sounds like something left over from the fine folks at Avast. Did you run Avast's own installer as well?
They did not have an uninstaller.
Really?
I didn't do it from my Windows. I just did the uninstaller from Nod 32.
Yeah. So Avast still has stuff on there, and what it's doing is it thinks Nod 32 is a virus. So it's blocking them from completing their install. And what we've got to do is really get rid of the low-level stuff that Avast put on there. Here's where you should go, and I thank Calhoun in the chat room for giving me this link. It's avast.com/uninstall-utility. Now, I don't know if that's the same one Nod 32 gave you, but I would recommend using that one.
You're breaking up really bad, so I can't hear everything that you're saying, but I'm assuming I can get this content somewhere.
Well, yeah, techguylabs.com. We'll put it there.
Okay.
And I'm just giving you the link to the Avast uninstaller. You might want to... Did Nod 32s come from Nod 32 or come from Avast?
It came from Nod 32.
Okay. Yeah, I would try Avasts. It's my suspicion that there's additional Avast content on there blocking the access. You might even want to, according to Colonel Clinken, I think he's right, go into safe mode in Windows before you run the Avast uninstaller. You'll get better results that way. In safe mode, the Avast uninstaller will, I think that will solve a problem for you. So, good luck, Jennifer. I'm sorry this is happening to you. I'm glad you found Nod 32. They're really good guys, and it's just my hope that solves the problem. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the breakup. I'm not sure if that was us or you. We'll see if anybody else has that problem. Let's try Kyle in Yorba Linda. Hi, Kyle. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Kyle?
Hello?
Hey, Kyle.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Man, I've listened to you so many times, but I have to admit this is my first time calling in.
Well, it's about time. Of course, you waited until you had an emergency probably, right?
No, actually just a dilemma that's kind of bothered me.
Okay. I'll take a dilemma over an emergency any day. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for iTunes alternatives. Because I still have an old iPod Touch.
On Windows?
Generation, but I'm switching over to Android gradually.
Right.
And iTunes on Windows has gotten so slow. I wonder if there's an easy way I could just export all the iTunes data and put it into like Winamp, or I was Googling around this morning, Clementine.
Yeah, Clementine is an open source version, or a version of an open source program called Songbird that Mozilla was doing for a while. My favorite is free. It's called Media Monkey, and I think it does everything iTunes will do. So I have to say, and I don't know if it's Apple's fault or what. I think it's probably because Apple, I think it has to be Apple's fault. iTunes has never been a good choice on Windows, and yet if you're using an iPod or iPhone, you have to use it. Try Media Monkey. It's free, MediaMonkey.com. I think there's a paid version as well.
So will Media Monkey talk to the iPod and Android phone?
It will talk to iPod. Now, when you move to Android, I like something called Double Twist.
Double Twist. I remember I tried that, but it wasn't fully compatible. It couldn't do USB sync with Ice Cream Sandwich and later.
Right. It's more for Wi-Fi sync. They have a Wi-Fi app that you run on the phone. Media Monkey will sync almost all iDevices. It does a lot of the additional stuff that iTunes does not do. It's a lot faster. It's a native app for Windows, which iTunes is not. So I think Media Monkey's great. I like Double Twist a lot. Now, remember, if you have iTunes copy protection on any of the songs, that's going to be an issue. Only iTunes can unlock those songs for you. You'll need to strip that off.
I don't have that,
Good.
But I do have star ratings. Will it import that?
That's a good question. If you spend a lot of time, managing your playlist, tagging play numbers and star ratings, let me see if the chat room knows. Will Media Monkey preserve star ratings? My guess is it will, but you never know. I'm looking through it. You know what? You don't have to erase iTunes. install Media Monkey. It will see the library. It will not duplicate it, and see if it does what you want.
Yeah, because I'd like to keep the star ratings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You put a lot of effort into those. You don't want to lose those. Don't know off the top of my head, and I'm looking at the chat room to see if they know, and they're busy. They're busy throwing spitballs at each other, as is often the case with the kids in the back of the class. So I'm not taking that too personally.
Okay. 5 minutes till 1. I guess I'll just pull the chat log.
Yeah. There you go, Kyle. Yeah. Wow. Kyle's a sophisticated user. Hey, I appreciate your call, Kyle. Thanks a lot. Great to talk to you, and keep listening. And I hope you never have occasion to call me again, because that would mean there's something going wrong with your system. But you're always welcome to call just to say hi. 8888 Ask Leo. There are other programs for pulling stuff off of your iPod on Windows. Somebody's recommending iSyncer. It's like iTunes, but it's for Android. ISYNCR. Media Monkey, according to Beatmaster, does import star ratings. Good news. I like Media Monkey. I'm not sure. Okay, so they have a free version, and then they have a gold version, which is $50, and I'm not sure exactly what the difference is, but I would try the free version first. 8888 Ask Leo. If you want to get in our chat room, just go to the website, techguylabs.com. As I mentioned, that's where we also put show notes, thanks to James DeRuvo, who's right out there right now, writing everything I say. Josh Windish then takes over during the week and polishes it up. Actually, Josh has been in Michigan for the last week for the holidays, but I saw his tweet that he was on a plane home. So he'll be home fixing up the website soon. techguylabs.com. You'll also find a link to the chat room there and to our phone number, 8888 Ask Leo. You can call that number. Another hour to go here on the Tech Guy Show. So if you've got a question or a comment, now's the time. We've got Joe on the line from Thomasville, Georgia. Alexander from Ontario. He's 10. He needs laptop buying advice. Alan from Pennsylvania. Can't decide whether he wants to go Intel or AMD. We got some good questions lined up. The Tech Guy will answer them all. Come sit on my lap. Right after this. I'm the Tech Santa. When we built the new Tech Guy Labs, we wanted to do as much as you don't want to sit on my lap, huh, Mark? Huh? All right. But I didn't want a big old PBX system in the basement. All right. Yes, there's homework. You have to read chapters 1 through 27. I didn't tell a 10-year-old to sit on my lap. I told you to sit on my lap downtown. Come here, boy. Come here, big boy. I don't know anything about font styles, the Mo. That's for our chat mods. I don't know what they did. What did you do to the chat? What did you do to the chat, Dan? Did you change the font? Huh? I don't know what happened to the chat. I use a IRC. Look what you see right now in the video. We're using XChat. On the Mac, I've been using something called Textual, which I like a lot also. 443-5190 ringcentral.com. Use my name. But I can make that a little bit bigger so you can see the fonts. But they upgraded the web client. Inferno 10 says they upgraded it, and that was something that the upgrade did. But I'm sure they'll revert it. You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Yeah, I like Textual. Textual uses CSS for the fonts and the color and all that stuff. So the web chat we use, what do we use now, Inferno? What are we using? I can't remember. Oh, it works on IE10. That's good. Yeah, so if you use a desktop client like QWeb IRC, which Inferno uses, that's the web client. All right. If you use Textual, Merc, XChat, you can then control everything. So if you don't like the font, that's probably the best thing to do. And I just set my chat client up just to automatically log right into the TWiT room. So when I launch the program, it's just there, which is very nice. No need to run a browser or anything. Colloquy is good for IRSSI if you're a Linux command line fool. Actually, IRSSI is great, and there's some nice reasons to use that. Pop-out chat is easy, but you have more control if you use a desktop. Yes, it turns brown every time you say my name. That's so I know who's saying hi to me. It's highlighting any time you use my name. Thank you, CFen. Yeah, why did I stop using XChat? I think when I think Lion and XChat didn't get along. Maybe I should try it now because it's probably better. Oh, the Mensa meeting let out. I have to tell my people to go do something else. They were all at a Mensa meeting. Now I have to get them. He's doing a jig. All the smart people. What are you doing? Oh, Barney, should he eat a Krusty Burger, attend an AA meeting, sober up, sleep in the gutter, be a pin monkey, I don't know what that is, or go on a binge? I like to do shorter things. I'm going to have him attend an AA meeting. So he'll go over to the church here. That's where the AA meetings are. Oh, look, Duffman. That's probably not good. Duffman is promoting Duff beer in front of the church right now. I'm thinking of tearing up everything. I want to do a boulevard down the middle. As soon as I get some government buildings, I somehow screwed it up, and I don't have the buildings I'm supposed to have. I don't even have, like some of the, I'm at level 20, and there's some buildings I should have had 5 levels ago I don't have yet. So I'm thinking once I get those, I'm going to make a big boulevard down the middle, like the Champs-Élysées, with government buildings at each end and then shops along each side, and then I'll have a residential district over here, and I'll have the nuclear plants and the power facilities over here, the penitentiary. I'm thinking about a total urban renewal plan. I'm going to tear everything up, use eminent domain, throw people out of their houses. Do not download this app. Just don't. It's horribly addicting. People laugh at me for using it. Hello, Osned. No, I have all the toxic waste over here at Cletus's farm. Cletus, he lives next to the tire fire. Oh, I got to plant a crop here. See, I wasn't paying attention. Now, there's some fun ones. For instance, you can plant triffids, and the reward is the end of humanity. And then I made the mistake of planting corn, actual corn. Grow time, 90 days. I made the mistake of doing that. Do not. When they're not joking, it actually takes 90 days. Not good. I had to buy some donuts to get out of that one. There's the high school with Otto and the bus driver. He crashed the bus there, and he's jamming on his guitar in front of the crashed bus. That's the ambulance. There's the gardener's shed. Hey, WA2SQQ. It's W6TWT. What do you want? Principal Skinner, stop that. Let's send him to a Mensa meeting. There he goes. All the smart people go to Mensa meetings. Where is the Mensa meeting? Let's follow him and find out. It's probably in the high school. No. Where's he going? Oh, it's in the gazebo? The Mensa meeting's in the gazebo. That's kind of funny. Who's there? Oh, a couple of people in the gazebo right now. I would have thought they'd have it at the library or the lab. That's where it was in the episode? Yeah, see, this refers to a bunch of episodes, and I kind of lost interest in The Simpsons about 12 years ago, after season 12. I became if a Family Guy game, I would play it like crazy. But The Simpsons, it seems to have lost its mojo, but the game is fun. I did watch the Cool episode, so I would understand the Cool House. And there's Cool Homer, who has a wallet chain, and here's the Cool House down here. You can't decorate the Cool House for Christmas. They're too cool. So that's the same house was in the episode, which is funny. What is the Cool House doing? They're raising pretentious kids right now. So the game's more fun than the TV show. La 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 la, nee nee nee, na 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 na, yeah, la la, yeah. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, cell phones, home theater, anything with a chip in it. Stuff you got over the holidays you need some help with. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A, outside the U.S. Use Skype or anything like that. You can call and it won't cost you anything. Joe's in Thomasville, Georgia, our first call of the hour. Hi, Joe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Joe?
I'm good. I'm still here with my helium, and I notice you're stealing my voice.
Oh, hello, Joe.
See, I always think that's your real voice. He actually talks like this.
No, this is actually my real voice.
But he talks like...
See, that's the problem. You have such a deep baritone that when you do the helium, you just sound like a normal strange person.
Here you go. Okay.
Don't do that. It's bad it's bad for you. You could pass out. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, I got a quick question that just popped into my head because we got ESET for the main computer that we're using.
Good man.
And I was wondering if there's a version for the Android phones.
There is, actually. I think they have ESET for Android. The question is, do you need it? And there certainly is malware on Android. I don't actually use the ESET program. I use a free one called Lookout that scans everything.
That's what I use right now.
Yeah, I think Lookout's fine because the truth is, while there are potential problems, for instance, Samsung has announced that there are two big problems with its some versions of its Galaxy S3 and with the Galaxy Note 2.
We got an update today, and I don't know whether that's the patch for it or whether they're just up.
It is. If you got an update from Samsung, that's exactly what that is, and I should check because I have a Galaxy Note and I didn't check today, so that's good. Glad to hear it. They said they were going to patch that
automatically.
Yeah. Yeah,
she got it automatically, and then this morning I went into the software updates and got it, myself just to get it, to make sure that I got it.
Very good idea. That for those who haven't yet updated it, do be careful about where you get your software, third-party software from.
Yeah, I went right to the software update on the Galaxy phone and downloaded it.
Good.
But my question that I had called about originally was, is there any way that you can make these, like Roku boxes and other brand boxes, have like a voiceover, like the Apple TV?
Oh, I wish there were. I wish there were, but that's got to be built into the OS, and to my knowledge, it's not available on Roku. Apple did it because they have a real focus on accessibility.
Yeah, that's a great little box.
Yeah.
I like it, but of course, the Rokus were on sale for so little this Christmas that I was thinking about getting one for the living room, and I had one before and I took it back because I wasn't able to navigate it well.
Yeah.
But I guess my wife could use it all right then.
Part of the problem with the Roku is that when you add channels, they're put in an arbitrary place, so you don't know where you are from the boops.
Right.
So you can't. It should announce it. It would be nice if you could turn that on. I don't think there's a way to turn that on. I'm looking to see if the chat room knows of one. I am a big fan of the Roku. I did not know Apple had that capability. That's great. So it's in is that in the settings?
Yes. You can go into the settings, and it'll say in your settings voiceover.
Fantastic.
And you put it on, and it'll actually tell you, like if you're going to, say, podcasts or Netflix or Pandora or whatever you're on, it will tell you where you're at.
That is really handy. And you don't need a whole lot. You just need to know what you're hovering over.
I would recommend it to any low vision person.
I would say stay with the Apple TV until Roku decides to add something like it.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate talking with you. You're like talking with an old friend, and I hope you have a good, safe, happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Joe. See, I don't need to use helium. I can just do that myself.
Yeah.
Take care, Joe. Be careful. Helium can be deadly if used in the wrong hands.
The difference, there's really only a couple of differences between Apple TV and Roku. Apple's more limited. It's the only device on the market that, so both of these devices do the same thing. They add internet connection to your television, basically. They have a HDMI cable that plugs in the TV, an Ethernet jack, and Wi-Fi that you can get the internet from, and then that way you can watch internet television on your TV set. And then Netflix is the big one, and of course they both have Netflix. Apple is the only one, the Apple TV is the only one that can use iTunes. So if you like to rent stuff on iTunes, TV shows or movies, or even buy TV shows or movies, or have in the past, it supports iTunes. It also supports the photo stream. A lot of it supports the Apple ecosystem, iCloud, all that. And now Roku has Amazon streaming, and the truth is Amazon has most of the same rentals and purchases for TV and movies that the Apple TV does. So if you don't have an investment in the iTunes store, then the Roku's fine because it's got Amazon, and it has a lot more stuff that Apple doesn't have. In fact, there's a website, a third-party independent website, Roku-channels.com. We'll put this in the show notes, that lists channels you can get on the Roku. Many of them are private, that you have to have a secret code or a password to use. Oh, it's not Roku-channels.com. Maybe I got the wrong URL. Let me check. Unless they went Roku-channels.com. Yeah, there it is. The Roku channel database, currently 1,478 channels on Roku, compared to maybe 10 on Apple TV. And some of them are just bizarre. 50 speeches you must see. 50 places to see before you die. ABC Australia, the Australian Broadcasting Company. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. Much of it free. A lot of it is in the Roku channel store, but some of it's not. There's a Charlie Rose channel. Not currently authorized by Charlie Rose, but there. So there's a lot of stuff that you can add to your Roku box that you can't do on the Apple TV. So if you have another compelling reason to get the Apple TV, low vision would be a good one. Do, by all means. It works beautifully. There is a TWiT channel on Roku. You could actually watch this radio show and all of our live streaming shows on Roku. That's a nice feature. I like that. And we don't pay Roku to do that. You do have to get an app made. Houdini7 in our chat room, Craig Mullaney, who's a great programmer, wrote a very nice app for us for the Roku. You submit it. It gets in the channel store. Roku's, I would say, glad to add channels. They want to have more content on the Roku. We don't have to pay them. It just becomes a channel. So if you search for TWiT, T-W-I-T, you'll find this show and all the other podcasts we do on your Roku box. Alexander is in Ontario, Canada. Hi, Alexander. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Alexander.
Hi, Leo.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Now, I'm calling for some laptop buying advice.
Okay. Did you get some money for Christmas?
Yeah.
Nice job.
So, I prefer Windows 7.
Yes, as do I.
A lot of Windows 7 laptops are refurbished. And I've heard a lot of stories about how refurbished don't come there. It comes broken and people just can't get it back. So
yeah, here's my recommendation on refurbished. Buy it from the original manufacturer. So if you're buying from Dell or Apple, most of the time when you get a refurbished from Dell or Apple, you're getting a laptop that they sold, the box was opened, but that U.S. law won't allow them to, and then sent back. The person said, I don't want it after all. Maybe didn't even boot it up. Just send it back. But once the box is open, U.S. law won't allow them to sell that as new. So if you're buying from the original manufacturer and it has the original warranty on it, I don't think refurb is a problem. However, I would say you still want to try to get a new one if you can. The issue is people aren't selling Windows 7. So hang on. I'm going to talk to you some more, Alexander. I'll find some places you can get a Windows 7 laptop. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm looking at Dell. I would think Dell would still offer Windows 7 laptops. Hey, let's face it, we're all trying to save money these days. We're all trying to find the best value for the buck. And when I think about value, man, the first thing that comes to mind, DSL Extreme, the best value in high-speed internet. Amazing. $14.95 a month. You're going to save hundreds of dollars a year. With DSL Extreme, everything's just as fast. There's no dialing in. There's no waiting on downloads. You can surf the net, store your photos, download music and video, get driving directions and everything. I love DSL Extreme. That's who I use. It looks like they're kind of phasing this stuff out, huh? That's who you are. It says, please call for latest prices. There's no setup. I love the XPS One. That was great, and I had that with Windows 7. You even get email powered by Google with virtually unlimited storage and free. Let's see if it's still Windows 7. For a limited time, I wish they would just give you a choice. Yeah, see, Windows 8. It's got to be a way to drill down into that, right? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. We're talking to Alexander in Ontario. He has a very simple question. Where can I get a Windows 7 laptop these days? The problem, of course, is Microsoft wants you to buy Windows 8. One suggestion, Alexander, is that you look in the business category. For instance, if you go to Dell and you look in the small business computers, they're still offering Windows 7. They know that small businesses will not buy Windows 8. So that's one place to go. If you search at Best Buy for Windows 7, you'll see a bunch of ads for Windows 8. Get Windows 8! Meet the new Windows 8! But then they still offer Asus, Toshiba, Sony, Samsung, and Acer laptops with Windows 7. So it's not too late. But I wouldn't waste too much time because, Microsoft really does want you to buy Windows 8. And unless there is a mass rebellion, which actually seems more and more likely, you may not be able to get Windows 7 for, after a few months. This happened before. It happened with Vista. It happened with XP. Microsoft always wants you to move to the next version of the operating system. I think you're right, by the way, Alexander. I think you should stick with Windows 7. Okay?
Okay.
How much? What's your budget?
Well, I haven't looked out a budget quite yet.
Oh, good.
I want to see what's on the site, and then I'll sort of make my budget from there.
I like Dell. I think if you look in the Dell small business computers, you're going to get a nice system.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck. Nice to talk to you. That's a nice way to start the new year. And by the way, I think, you're never too young to get a computer for a kid. It's a great thing. 10 years old, fine. 4th grade. I'd say probably, most kids should have easy access to a computer by the time they're in 7th grade. But, if they're starting to do research on reports, projects, that kind of thing, having internet access is great. Just don't let them install Minecraft because you'll never see them again. Alan in Pennsylvania, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Alan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay. First-time caller.
Welcome. It's good to have you.
I enjoy your program very much.
Thank you.
I'm in the process of buying a new desktop computer.
Okay.
And I was curious if it's worth spending the extra money for an i5 processor versus an i3 processor?
Yeah, I think i5 is worth spending the money. The i3 is an artificially constrained processor to give them a very low price point. The real question is i5 versus i7. I think i5, though, is what you want, yeah. Okay. Was that too easy? Is there a big price differential between the 3 and the 5?
I lost what you were saying.
Oh, we're still having trouble with the phone system. Yeah, I'll say it again.
Think about the 5 versus the 7?
Yeah, the i3 is something that Intel created so that manufacturers would have a very low price point. And what it is an i5 with reduced cache. They artificially hobbled an i5 to make it cheaper. And I think they hobbled it in a way that significantly affects performance. So my suggestion is go with the i5. It might be $100 more, but it's worth it. The real question is not so much i3 versus 5. Get the 5. Do you need an i7? And I think in most cases you don't. I think you're good with an i5 for most performance and most needs. That's fine. Philip in Ontario, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Philip.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I have a question about my daughter, the Galaxy player for Christmas.
How does she like that? That's an interesting product. It's basically, I think, a Galaxy S2 phone minus the phone.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's their version of the iPod Touch, basically.
Having trouble with the tech. Yeah, she's having trouble with the iPod Touch texting them.
That's because Apple is using something called Apple's Message or iMessage, and it is not compatible with the non-Apple product. So it's not that she's having trouble texting Apple iPod Touches; it's that they are not using a normal system. However, good news. There's lots of third-party messenger systems that work just fine.
She's tried Text Plus and Google Message, but it just doesn't seem, when she texts them, she can't seem to reach them.
Are they on Facebook, most of them?
No, probably not, because they're very young. They're 13 and so.
13 is the cutoff for Facebook. Facebook they bought a company called Beluga. They bought a great messaging package, and Facebook Messenger is what everybody over 13 uses, just because you already have a Facebook account. I like WhatsApp. You might try that. WHATSAPP. That's the #1 messaging system.
Okay.
It has most of the features you want, including the ability to send audio, pictures, text, location. It's fantastic.
Okay, so WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. It's. I think now. Here's the negative. It's not expensive. I think it's $1.
Okay.
But you can use it for free for a while. Skype is another good choice. Almost everything supports Skype. The problem is really that some of her friends with the touches are probably using the Apple app. And that won't work with anything.
Okay, so they need to download. Do they need to download the WhatsApp also then?
Yes, everybody needs to use the same app. That's the problem. If they're using the native messaging on the iPod Touch, she won't be able to talk to them.
Okay.
Another good one is GroupMe. That's fabulous. Use that as well. I've tried them all. They're all effectively the same. WhatsApp is the most commonly used. That's the #1 app in the category. If you don't count Facebook. Facebook probably is the most universal at this point. And as soon as they all have Facebook accounts, this won't be an issue.
Problem. I mean, she'd be really happy with it, I think, with the device.
Yeah. No, she'll be. Yeah, she just has to get them to use it. It's kind of nice because then they can have their own group. It does group messaging, which is fantastic. So she can send a message to everybody in the group. Hey, let's all meet at the malt shop. That if there is such a thing anymore, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of kids use Kik. Taz and another people in the chat room are saying Kik. I don't recommend younger children using Kik.
Okay.
KIK. So try to keep them away from that. WhatsApp is a good choice.
Okay, excellent. You're kind of cutting out, so I'm going to be going.
All right. Thank you, Philip.
Thanks for your help.
All righty. Take care. I apologize to everyone. Jonathan, do we know what's going on? I'm not cutting out to you, right, Jonathan?
Nope, you're sounding great.
It has to do with the phone interface we're using. We've had the worst problems with phones for the last, 3 years. But one of these days, We'll probably solve it. I apologize in advance. If you can't hear me, let me know so I can repeat it. Judy in New Jersey, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey.
I have a Dell computer. It's about 6 months old. Windows 47.
Okay.
I mean, Windows 7.
I remember 47. That was a great year. I tell you what, I got to take a break, Judy. I hear the magic music. I will be back. Don't go anywhere. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So callers repeatedly say, I can't hear you. I'm cutting in and out for callers. Well, the echo is not gone. We did move to the analog mixer. So the echo, that did not fix the echo, but it's lower. But now, and that's not our fault. Callers can't hear me. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Well, that Beach and Tech, that's what we're thinking of, is just, abandoning Premiere. I should just take calls from Skype. It sounds better. It's all right. My OB-High stopped working. I don't know what happened. When I moved, I couldn't fix it. We changed studios, and I believe it's a new... They didn't... Jonathan, you wouldn't know. Is Matt there?
I am here, Leo.
This is a new hybrid, right?
Completely new phone system.
Ay, caramba. This is somewhat similar to the problem we had occasionally on the old system where I would break up.
What we are seeing coming to us is a very wide range of level from you. When you're at a normal volume, everything is great. When you get quiet, it gets very quiet. There's at least a 12 dB difference.
Wow.
And that's when callers have trouble hearing.
Okay. So I need to speak up.
If you can do that for me for today, it would really help me out in just trying to make sure callers can consistently hear you without having to try and boost the gain to them, because that will accentuate the echo issue.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good. That I can do something about. I'll just talk louder. We had an analog limiter in here. I really hate using those if I can avoid it. I didn't realize my level was varying that much. We're not sending you much level. I mean, we're sending you very low level, to avoid that distortion issue. I'm 20 dB down even at peak on my board.
Distortion we were only getting on the live wire Zephyr. We don't get distortion on this analog.
Oh, so I could probably boost my level. I guess they could put a expander into or a limiter into the feeding the hybrid.
What Bill told me he would want is an AGC just on what's feeding to us, not necessarily on what you hear, but just the raw feed, to us to help us manage that level.
God, I mean, I've never had this problem before. I don't think I have that. No, I guess I do. Back to Judy in New Jersey. Thank you for your patience, Judy. So you say you got a new Dell.
Yes.
And what happened?
There's two USB ports that are not working. One that does work I use for my mouse. And, I've been in touch with Dell. They want to they did mess around with the drivers.
Yeah.
I think it made it worse, but anyway.
So let me just kind of fill you in on what could be going wrong here. They're looking for a software solution, but when they say, as soon as they say, well, we're going to have to reformat the hard drive, that's because they want to get the computer back to the way it was when it came from Dell. And by doing that system recovery disk, they can do that. Then it's in a known state because they don't know what you've done. And it's no indictment of you, Judy, but people install software that could break the USB port or whatever. It's unlikely, though. It's much more likely, given what you've described. In fact, it's 100% likely, given what you described, that the two USB ports are connected to a bad USB hub in the computer. In other words, it's not unusual on a good computer to have more than one USB channel. On cheap computers, you have a single one. You might have 4 ports, but they all come to the same place. But on a good computer, you might have 2 USB channels, and I think that's why one USB port is working and 2 are not. See, if it were a driver issue, nothing would work because they're all connected to the same driver software. So it's an interesting thing they tried, but it's not logical. The logic is that you've got a hardware problem because some USB stuff works if it's on the right port. Those 2 ports, broken. The reason they don't want to jump to that conclusion is there's only one fix for that, and that's to replace your computer.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. They just don't want to go there because it's going to cost them money. Is it a laptop or a desktop?
Lap.
Yeah. They have. I mean, the truth is it's just replacing the logic board, but you can't really replace the logic board without getting the whole computer, opening it up, blah, blah, blah. So you could let them do, in fact, you're going to have to let them do what they want to do or they won't authorize the replacement. They have to go through, they've got to, see, there's a guy in India who has a notebook in front of him. And in that notebook, there are steps, and he has to go through all those steps till he gets to that page that says, okay, let the customer send it back.
So ultimately, I'm going to lose everything anyway.
Well, you should back it up now. You bet. Because if you send it into them, you will not get that hard drive back probably. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good time to back it up now.
Yeah, I have like a gazillion photos on there, even though I'm only ahead of virtual time because it has a terabyte memory. So I did put a lot of photos on there, and now I have to find a place to put them all.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have anyway. Everybody should do this. Go out and buy an external drive. They're not very expensive. You can go to Costco or any of the big box stores, get a Western Digital external drive for $100 that would back up everything. It's a good thing to have anyway.
Yeah, I do have 2 external.
Oh, all right. Well, you're set then. Just copy those photos to the external. They're already full. You take a lot of pictures.
Yes, I'm into photography, big deal, and I have a lot of grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have multiple external drives for my photos.
Right, okay, so I guess I'll just have to get another one.
Yeah, I would back it up while you still have at least one USB port working. Now, what they also are going to wonder is, well, why are those 2 out? It could be just there's a mortality rate for new computers. It's normal. Some percentage of them are just going to fail. But they also are going to be concerned about that maybe you plugged something in that short-circuited it.
Yeah, well, I think they are blaming my external hard drive.
Of course they are. Anything to get out of giving you a replacement.
Okay.
And it could be, and they could be right, by the way. But it's a brand new computer. These things happen. A certain 1%, 1/10 of one, whatever it is. Literally thousands of computers will have USB hardware die on arrival.
Well, if it was my external hard drives, then.
Well, what'll happen, and this is what they're worried about. They'll send you a new computer. You plug in that drive, it fries those ports again. If there's a short circuit, it can be because understand there's power powering the drive over those ports. If those wires, if the cable's bad or those wires are messed up or the port is messed up, it could actually any electricity going back down the wrong channel on that USB port could fry that chip, the controller chip, and then it would stop working again. So that's why they're concerned.
Well, I still plug the hard drive into the one that's working, and it continues to work.
Well, I would tell them that. Say, I don't think it's the hard drive because it's working on the working one.
Right. Okay.
But they don't know what happened. People do all sorts of crazy things.
Because that's what I'm using to get my pictures off the computer is that hard drive, that USB port that's working.
Right. Yeah.
That's
the fact that there's one port working means it's not a driver issue because it wouldn't work. It's a hardware issue. The chip that controls those 2 ports is different, and they probably know that. I mean, they have the circuit board layout in front of them. They could probably see, oh yeah, port 3 and 4 and ports 1 and 2 are different controller chips. One of them's fried. They're a couple of big concerns. One is they have to go through every step before they can authorize the return, and 2, they don't want you to get a new computer and fry it again. So they kind of have to, I don't know how they reassure themselves on that. But I think what you just described is infant mortality. That's what happens. New computers sometimes just have problems. And Dell's usually pretty good. Richard, San Diego, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Richard.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a scientist, and I've worked with some of the most brilliant people in the world, and I find it interesting that I don't think I've ever met one that was a member of Mensa. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I think they're probably busy doing big things. They don't have time to join Mensa.
Oh yeah. I think that's the reason. Anyway, they don't really care about that kind of stuff. But anyway,
if you have 3 PhDs, you don't need a certificate from Mensa on the wall to prove you're a smart man or woman. No, it's just kind of a given.
So, a quick question for you about, I have a router from my cable company, and I have a big home, and it's not reaching everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I thought I heard you mention a device that you can purchase that will basically make internet available anywhere in my home.
Yeah. So what wireless network access is like any other wireless thing. It attenuates over distance. You got a big house. It may and you may have walls. You may have walls with metal in it, which is even worse. So it's going to attenuate the signal. It gets weaker and weaker. You get farther enough away, it's not going to work anymore. So what you want is a repeater, something you could put midway between the existing access point and where you want it to be. It will actually take the signal from the access point, boost it, and send it on. The system that does this is called WDS, Wireless Distribution System, and it's an existing standard. Almost all the manufacturers of routers may call them WDS, they may call them repeaters, they may have all sorts of names for them, but it's essentially a bridge that says, okay, I'm going to pass these signals along, I'm going to amplify them.
Okay.
So just go to the store. You want to get the same brand you already have if you can. Generally, they'll work best together.
Do you think my cable provider would have that?
No. So you're using the Wi-Fi router they gave you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know what brand it is?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
It's probably Action Tech or Eris. Try to get one that matches it. If not, it may still work. You go out and get a Linksys or a Netgear or an Apple, and it may still work fine. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I'm shouting, and I guess we're not having the problem, so I'll just keep shouting. Now I know why Bill Handel talks like that the whole time. When we built the new Tech Guy Labs, we wanted to do as much as we could in the cloud. We stored documents there. I just talk like Bill Handel all the time. PBX system in the basement. That's why when Russell, my IT guy, said, there's a cloud-based phone system too, Ring Central, I said, go for it.
I probably do modulate too much, and I'll stop doing that.
Zero startup costs. No PBX hardware to install or maintain. Ring Central allows me to easily customize all my call handling. My producer loves getting his voicemail and his email. We can even get all our fax messages right on our smartphone. Ring Central. All $20 per month per user, and you can start right now with a 30-day risk-free trial. Plus a special offer just for you. That way. When you buy one desk phone, you get a second phone free.
There's a ladies' room, too.
Phones.
You're both Galaxy Note users.
You
like them.
Listeners, 800-443-5190.
Not too big for you?
443-5190. Or go to ringcentral.com. Make sure you use the promo code Leo.
I very rarely hold this to my head. And even if I do, I don't think it looks that weird. But I don't like to hold any phone.
The question I get asked is, how do I get...
It doesn't look that... Yeah, it's fine.
Protection,
but most of the time when we use phones nowadays, we're not using them.
Trojan horses, keystroke
to do
loggers,
phone
all those
calls.
little beasties, adware, phishing scams. Well, there's really only one program you need. The one I use, ESET's Nod 32. It has the most advanced heuristics engine.
Yes, it's a giant phone.
Bad guys before they can get
So he's using Skype or something?
And it's so lightweight, it doesn't bog your system down. It's protection you won't even notice. ESET's not 32.
He was just talking loudly.
Got 5 out of 5 stars from CNET. They
Right.
did the editor's choice.
Hey, you don't know nowadays. The European version of the Nexus 7 has a SIM chip. You can use it as a phone. Yeah.
Call 866-935-ESET. 866-935-ESET.
Yes, Truckee. When you come, you need to buy toilet paper from the restroom attendant. So bring dollar coins. They only take $1 coins.
If you use Windows, you need Nod 32 from ESET.
Look who's there.
It's Dickie D.
You're a little early, Dick.
Oh, by 4 minutes.
Oh, wait a minute. It's the last segment. How'd that happen?
You talk a lot, pal. You're solving problems.
I know. And I'm talking like this from now on. So, if I lose my voice,
I will help you find it.
You can look for it for me. Eh?
What'd you say, Sonny?
What? And you're going to do a Giz Fizz after the show, am I right?
I am doing a Giz Fizz today.
I am fizzing the gizzing. See my Google Glass.
I'm going to talk to someone who just dropped by, Bill Funt.
Alan's son? No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
actually
cool.
he was hiding in the closet. It was very weird. He had a webcam.
Smile.
Yeah,
you're on Candid Drop Cam. La la la. So it's cute. We've got. Is it Chris and Sandy in the? Sorry, no, it's not. It's Scott and Erica. But I was close. Scott and Erica are here, and they both have Galaxy Note 2s. I like it. That's what I like to see. And I'm surprised, you know, you and I, we got big hands, big guys, but it works fine for you too. That's really good news. That's good. I love it. Greatest phone ever. Do you ever use a stylus though? You do. Yeah. Are you an artist? Do you use a stylus?
I use it a lot less than I thought I would.
Yeah, I very rarely use it. Yeah.
And plus, sometimes the interface on the stylus is out.
Hey, Leo.
Right. It's like, what's going on? Yeah. Yes, Jonathan.
Nod 32 live read.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Right. We're just used to using our fingers now. We don't really, Yeah, writing something down. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 asked Leo, I didn't talk about any of the Apple rumors, but that's just because there's nothing to say. They're just rumors, so don't get your hopes up. Don't worry about it. You know, when Apple decides to tell people, then we'll know. I tell you this, though, the rumors are all true. It is Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and our GizWiz here. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm super good. We're having a little snowstorm in the city.
So I hear. What does little mean?
Little means 1 to 3 inches, but in the city itself, the sidewalks are so warm. So far, nothing's really sticking.
Yeah, that was one of the great disappointments I found about
you and all the kids
about Manhattan. Is that snow does not stick unless there's a lot of it, and it's really cold.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's too expensive for snow to stay here.
Yes, they can't afford it.
It touches down and it gets out of town.
Yeah, like most people, it just it goes to New Jersey.
That's it.
So a lot cheaper to stay there. So every week Dick stops by with a gadget or something crazy and wild. What do you got today?
Well, you know what? Crazy and wild. You know, on the GizWiz this week, we did our favorites and our least favorites. I thought I would pick the weirdest gadget of 2012. Oh. And you were away when I found this, so you can tell me if this is not weird, okay?
All right.
It's called Koubachi, Koubachi. It is the Wi-Fi enabled plant sensor.
Oh, see, I need this because I kill plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You're an easy mark for these things. Okay? You know, I met the inventor. The guy's very sincere about this. So I said, well, all right, so how does this work? He said, all right, so you put it in your plant.
Yeah.
You download the app, hook it up to your Wi-Fi network, water the plant.
Yeah.
wait until it dries out, water it again, and now after 2 cycles, which is 3 to 6 days, the sensor will know the watering cycle of your plant. Then you can move it on to another plant.
So it's not sensing the moisture; it's just setting a timer.
Yes. Yes. And the other thing was, he showed me his phone and he said, Dick, this is my plant back in Switzerland.
Oh.
And I said, okay, so now suppose the plant says, I need water. What do you do? He said, well, I call a neighbor. And
by the way, this is not just a sensor. This is a plant care engine.
Engine, yes.
Engine
keeps track of the light in the room.
Oh,
but the problem is it's pretty expensive. It's $100.
Oh, I'm just going to buy another plant. Cheaper to buy a plant a month.
A plant a month.
Yeah.
Or $130 for the outdoor version. It can remember up to 27 different plants.
See, for that money, it ought to have a little water reservoir.
I would say that's my, I was hoping for a little thing where you could just like on your smartphone dial a little bit of water, a lot of water, and maybe have a drop cam, watch it get watered, but
this is kind of a growing category. We talked before about the Nest.
Oh, a growing category. Very good.
Yeah. For those of you with green, we talked before about the Nest thermostat that I can use to set my temperature in my house remotely via Wi-Fi. I'm here at the office and I'm going to go home and I say, I want to warm the house up. I can actually turn up the heat. That works. We've talked. I don't know. Have we talked about the Philips Hue light bulbs? That's kind of wild.
Oh my word! Joe Balanis, a fan of the show, we had lunch last week, and he said, "Leo, it cost me $200 last week."
He bought them, did he?
He went out. He went right out to the Apple store. He loves them.
I love them. These are light bulbs. They're LED. First of all, you like LEDs, but that means they
8 of them now.
They last a long time. They're expensive. It's $60 for the bulb, but it lasts 15,000 hours. That's like 10 years at 4 hours a day. So it's going to last you. It's not going to save you money over a regular light bulb. I did the math. It's still more expensive. Even it's only 8.5 watts, so it uses less power, but it's still more expensive. But it can make any color. So you could take a picture of a color you like, and you could say light bulb, be that color, and it will.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a weird product.
Do that.
Yeah, I know. Be any color you want.
Well, look at Chad. When Chad came in, you said, Chad, be red.
And his hair is bright red. Yeah. Dick DeBartolo's at gizwiz.biz. That's his website. The What the Heck Is It contest. Is it ending this month, or do you got?
Yes, 2 more days and it's history.
Chance to win
36 winners New Year's Day.
How exciting! It is a chance to win the February issue of Mad Magazine. All you got to do is figure out what a gadget is. He's got a picture on his page. But you should know there's 12 autographed Mad Magazines for the right answer, 24 for the best wrong answer. So you figure it out. Gizwiz.biz. Dick, Happy New Year.
The same to you, buddy, and I'll see you next. Oh, that's right. New Year's Day, we are.
Don't even start. It's crazy. Don't even start. You are going to stick around, though. After the show, you want to do a Giz-Fiz?
I am doing that.
You have a special guest.
I have a special guest.
Yes, and we'll let you all find out about that after the radio show on most of these NBC stations. No, that's wrong. That's something completely else. Thank you, Dick. Wade in Alberta, Canada. Hey, Wade.
Hi, how are you doing?
Happy New Year. I'm doing great. How are you? Welcome.
I'm good.
What can I do for you?
Well, I just I'm not having a problem with the phone. I wanted to ask your opinion. And you keep talking about your stubby little fingers. Well, I got them too. and it's kind of hard to hunt and peck the numbers or the letters on.
I gave up on the iPhone primarily because I would make so many typing mistakes on its little tiny keyboard.
Yeah.
So the Rugby is an older Samsung phone.
I thought it was just new.
Well, maybe it is. It's running 2.3 Android Gingerbread, which is very old. So my guess is it is not, in fact, a very recent phone. If you're going to get and it's also a 3.7-inch screen. That is only a tad larger than the old iPhone screen. It's smaller than the current iPhone. So it's a small screen.
I should have asked your opinion first, I think. But
if you've got,
I went and got this phone, and it's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Good. So you could type on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
it's just hard to get the.
Maybe you have the Rugby Pro. Do you have the Rugby Pro?
It's called a Rugby LTE.
Oh, well, that's probably the newer one then. I'm looking at the older, plain old Rugby. The Rugby Pro, I think it's more up to date. Let me see what version. Yeah, it's ice cream sandwich. Not the brightest, but still much better. Yeah, if you've got the LTE one, I take it back. You have the newer one that is probably a better choice. It's 4 inches instead of 3.7 inches. There are other keyboards, that are really great. I would look at the Swipe keyboard or the...
Well, I thought about getting an iPhone.
Why?
I don't know. because.
Just because of the wonderful whiz it is? Well, I think that's fine, too. I would try before you buy. My favorite's the Galaxy Note. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the TWiT Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.